Tigers, Cardinals on the road in Philadelphia to take on the Phillies. Mets and Pirates get together in New York. It's the Braves playing host to the Nationals. Cubs and Marlins get together in Chicago, and it's the Rangers and Rockies in Texas. Astros playing host to the Royals. Meanwhile, one note out of the NFL, Bengals defensive end Trey Hendrickson said the team has cut off contract talks amid a dispute regarding a new deal. In a statement to ESPN's Adam Schefter, Hendrickson said, "No communication has taken place between my camp and the organization following the NFL draft in April."
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital Common Sense Lending.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Welcome, everybody. It's Wyman and Bob live from T-Mobile Park, Seattle Sports on 710. And sitting in for Dave Wyman today and tomorrow is the one, the only Ryan Roland Smith, who's here with us. How are you, man?
Fantastic. Down at the ballpark. Nice day outside.
Beautiful day, right? It's nice and bright. That's why I'm wearing these cool guy shades. I went to our guys at K2.
Oh, that's
Vision.
right. Yes, that's
right. Little procedure done last week, so
that's
I can't be in the
I get it.
lights.
I will say that was one thing for a few months, whereas like some of the brightness would come back a little bit.
Well, this
and hit you.
The one that I got, it'll lock it in. They can adjust your vision with ultraviolet light. So if I'm out in the sun, it'll lock it in. They won't be able to adjust it. So I have to wear these, and so it's not me trying to be the cool guy.
No, I walked in.
Cool guy in the club.
But what's going on?
I make fun of those guys that are wearing the sunglasses indoors. I'm just like, oh, come on.
Your eyes are red after the weekend sweep. That
I've been crying. Look, I had shed a few tears. What do you want me to do? I was upset. I was looking forward to that Blue Jays series, and it did not go the way we had hoped. But we'll get into that. Coming up on the program, Jim Bowden will join us at 2:30. He of the Athletic and MLB Network Radio. So we'll talk some baseball with him. And then Erik Boland, Yankees beat writer for Newsday, will join us at 3 p.m. We'll talk Yankees. Saw one Dave Sims in here moments ago. He seems to be awfully happy.
He does.
Calling the action for the Yankees.
Right. Yeah, he's in his element. Good to see him.
Well, let's get into what we saw over the weekend. Not what I expected.
Right.
I did not expect a sweep. I did not expect the offense to go to sleep. I did not expect what we got out of the rotation. I mean, none of it.
Yeah.
I mean, look, they're not going to win every series. They won 9 in a row. I'm not going to over-rotate and go, oh, it's a disaster. I knew they were terrible. But was there anything coming out of this that concerned you?
Yeah, I mean, looking at this last 3 games compared to what we've seen, you mentioned the 9 consecutive series won. The first game, I will say this. That defense bailed Kevin Gausman out of that game like you would not believe.
So many plays on scorched.
Right.
Balls.
And I was looking like, oh, man, okay. You leave Friday night's game thinking, all right, well, didn't get the luck. And now you need some luck if you're going to get 9 straight series, right? You're going to need some luck. So didn't have the luck on Friday night. Really good defense. Kevin Gausman was giving up hard contacts. I'm like, all right, offense, we're still good. Still hitting the ball hard. Then the next night, got some early runs. But then all of a sudden, it was kind of like that. And we're very familiar kind of shut down as the game went on. Mm-hmm. And the Blue Jays bullpen is really good. The ERA doesn't show up, but when it comes to swing and miss, they're tough. Now, so I look at that, and then you go into game 3, and all right, you got to take this. You can't get swept after going 9 straight series wins. You got the Blue Jays in town. You're back home. Everything else. But you know what? At the same time, you're due for that. Now, as we sit here today, you've got a really, really tough. You mentioned the pitching, right? Mm-hmm. And the starting pitching, which has been struggling, especially, it really has. It's not the same as what we're accustomed to seeing over the last 2 years when you've gone back to 23, 24. This is a uphill battle, what they got the next 3 days with the Yankees in town.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot to watch here. You guys can text in 866-979-3776. Any thoughts you had coming out of this series? Do you take it as, hey, man, this is baseball? This is baseball. You're going to have losing streaks. There are going to be series you lose. Here you get swept. You're going to sweep. I mean, it's just part of 162 games. Or are you looking at this as confirmation of some negative feeling you had about this team? I knew it was fool's gold. I saw some of that on social media. I knew they weren't any good. I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah. They won 9 series in a row. They lose 1, but that one weighs more than the 9. I'm like, look, I didn't like it either, but let's take a take a beat here.
Yeah.
Dan Wilson, just a couple thoughts from Dan Wilson here. Here he is just talking about getting swept.
Obviously a tough one today, and a tough series for us, but one of those series that kind of want to turn the page and move on. Tough one today.
This is a situation where I'm sure as a player, as a manager, you're glad we got a game today. There's a new team in town that you don't have time to sit on that, right? Is that sort of the mentality of a player in there when you go through a bad stretch or tough series like this? You're like, man, I'm glad I don't have a day off to stew on this. I got to focus on this opponent right now.
Yeah, I think that obviously from a team collective, when you have an afternoon game, Mother's Day yesterday, you leave, you put in the rearview mirror. That's natural, everything else. But when you come in today and we're watching guys taking batting practice early, you just don't want a situation where if all of a sudden you go 5 straight games, right, and you go a couple games where something feels a little bit off, and then all of a sudden you get swept. So not only are you dealing with something personally going on, I mean, we can get into it with a few different players, which, pattern-wise, when you see some of the trends and everything else, good and bad, and then all of a sudden you get you get swept. Music's not on in the clubhouse. And then you roll into a game like today, that's when it can feel like, oh, man, like something's kind of going in a wrong direction here. Now, if that makes sense, it's a situation, let's say you go 0 for 4, team wins, music's pumping. So you got voices around you so that with that atmosphere of like, hey, everything's okay. It's natural. Yeah. Now, when you don't do that, like a J.P. Crawford who goes 0 for 4 and a couple strikeouts, and then goes into yesterday, now hits that double right away. It's like, okay, all right, he's good. Now, let's say, for example, he goes an 0 for 4, snaps to 16 straight games, goes in, takes an 0 for example, whoever it is. Yeah. And again, end of a sweep, no music, playing the Yankees coming in, or you're facing whoever you're facing pitching-wise, that's when it starts to feel like, oh, man, I kind of need an off day right here or just to stop this bleeding. Yeah.
One more from Dan here, just talking about the frustration of losing like this at home.
I mean, it's frustrating. I think we've played so well and, wanted to show the home fans that we were excited to be back home. But it was a tough series. And again, we got a lot more baseball ahead of us, and we got another series starting tomorrow, and we'll be ready to go.
I think what frustrated me about the series is not that they lost it, because again, I was waiting. I'm surprised they went 9 series. I mean, that's just baseball, man. That's how it goes. But I think being swept on your home field by a team that was scuffling coming in, they had lost 7 of 10. They had lost 3 in a row. There were 3 games under 500. So, also a team that anybody was talking about was the power outage. They can't hit home runs. Well, they hit a couple in this series, and they were able to put up a bunch of runs, and your offense combined for 7 total runs in 3 games. So collectively, frustrating. I'm not gonna flip out, but I get the frustration. It's a disappointing way to end your streak.
And on top of that too, a team that can put a hurting on you late in games, and then they run into a Blue Jays bullpen, which basically leads the league as a team in swing and miss. And so you run into that. So you got to factor some of this stuff in. I still feel like with the 9 straight series wins, they get swept. They will lose 3 in a row at some point again this year. That's going to happen, right? It's just tough when it's a sweep, and like and Dan Wilson mentioned, at home. But I still feel like the way this team's built, and what's going to carry them is going to ultimately be the pitching, not this offense. And on top of that, too, one good pattern I was going to try and get to before was the fact that look at what Julio Rodriguez is starting to do now. Mm-hmm. Swing and miss is way down. He's just having way better at-bats. There's a couple times yesterday.
7 games without a strikeout?
I think it was 6 or 7. It was 6 or 7, something like that. It was 6, right? 7. Okay, thanks, Mike. I should know that.
It was cool that Mike didn't big time you today. That was pretty cool.
It's nice. Yeah, we still haven't gotten to the video I sent you guys actually of me prepping.
Ryan had his son here yesterday, and he's like, "Hey, remember I did that?"
I know.
He's like, "This is the guy I sent the video to when I traumatized you."
Lang says to me, "Is he like a really good pickleball player when I get the car?" Because he's asked me about pickleball. So there you go. I was like, "Yeah, he apparently he thinks he's pretty good." We'll see about that. But
that's why I was firing missiles at you to get prepared.
But when I still think at the end of the day, when you look back and say, okay, what kind of start did this team have? What did they look like? once they got to the trade deadline. How is this team built? Yada, yada, all that. I still am a big believer in we still haven't quite seen what the identity of this team is. Even though we've seen this nice Australian, they're an offensive team. They're a top 5 in on base and top 5 in walks and top 5 in slugging, top 5. That's
home runs.
All that.
Yeah.
And that's great. And you hope that they're going to be a top 10 or whatever. But I still feel like at the end of the day, when you're looking at all this and thinking to yourself, man, pitching hasn't been great. Bryce Miller is a big concern. And some of these other things that stand out to me. I still feel like at the end of the day, with all that being said, 162 games, you're going to look back and go, man, yeah, the pitching carried this team.
Yeah, well, let's get into the pitching because in this series it was not good. And it's surprising how similar their lines were. I was going through writing down the line for each guy. Castillo went 5 innings, 7 hits, 5 runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, 1 home run, 94 pitches. Not great.
Right.
Evans goes 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, 1 home run, 86 pitches. I don't carry that level of expectation with him. I thought he gave you a chance to win. He gave up 3 runs in 5 innings. You'll take that from him, right? His third start. Miller, 5 innings, 8 hits, 7 runs, 2 walks, 3 Ks, 1 home run. Each starter had 2 walks and 3 strikeouts. All 3 of them, exactly that. And each one of them gave up 1 home run.
Right.
It's just all their lines are remarkably similar except the runs given up, which was the worst by Miller. And he's a guy I look at and go, he keeps talking about not feeling right physically. Yeah. And I've got to imagine he said that it dates back to last year going into the offseason. I've got to believe if he had any sort of physical concerns that they've done the tests, they've done imaging or whatever they need to do to make sure he's fine. They're not going to run him out there if he's complaining about some level of physical ailment. They're going to get it checked out, right? So I'm assuming they have, and I'm assuming everything's come up clean because I don't think they're running him out there. He's too valuable to this team. If he's saying, hey, man, my elbow's barking, they're not going to go, just rub some dirt on it, get out there. Right?
Like, no, we need you. So early May, we need you to push through.
Yeah, so is it fair to assume that they've gone through whatever they need to go through, imaging, tests, whatever it is they do when a pitcher says, I don't feel right physically, whatever, and he's not being specific.
Yeah, and just the concern that he's being outward about that's a concerning part on the health situation. I still think, put that aside, whatever's going on with him health-wise, whether it's, lower back, right? It could be a situation where it's a lower back where, hey, I can pitch, but it's bothering me enough that I want to be vocal about it, and it's affecting everything else I do. Put that aside. To me, watching him pitch, and I did the game yesterday, and I've watched him the last couple outings, it's a confidence thing, and it's a situation where he's a little unsure about where he stands in regards to, all right, I'm going to attack you here. And trust me, I've been there plenty, right? And I've got the baseball reference page to back that up, where you look at and you're like, man, okay, you feel like you have to be perfect. Bryce Miller and no one it doesn't matter what kind of stuff you have. If you are trying to be perfect or overcome something that you're worried that you're lacking, it's going to be a recipe for not a disaster, but not good stuff. Like that fastball he threw to George Springer. To me, I thought, okay, he's trying to go fastball at the top of the strike zone. Velocity was good. The spin was good on everything, so no concern there physically. He's trying to get to the top. He's trying to be perfect with it, and trying to hit a Coke can. And next thing you know, lives out of the middle of the plate, 1-1 count, whack, gone. And then you just see just the deflation out of him. To me, I feel like there's this, he knows that he's not getting deep in games. He knows that. He's carrying that, right? He knows that he's got to be better at pitches per innings, all those little things. He glance up and look at that pitch count in the third inning, like, oh, not so much yesterday. He's a little bit better yesterday. And then all of a sudden you get on the ropes and you get this overwhelming feeling, here we go again. And then you try and be perfect, and that's where you fall into trouble. I think Bryce is living with that a little bit right now, and he's too good to live with that. But it's just, you can't. I can tell him that all day. You could tell him that all day. Pete Woodworth could tell him that. He has to know that himself. And I think he's dealing with a bit of that right now in regards to, he feels like he has to be a little bit better than what his stuff allows him to be. And it just never works out well. So I think he's dealing with that right now. Hopefully he can get through it sooner rather than later.
Do you get a sense that it's more mental than physical?
Yeah.
Because he looked good to start the game.
Right.
His stuff looked good. His stuff was playing. I mean,
he was that pop-up. He was kind of messing around a bit.
Yeah.
He had like a little, way better tempo. I talked about that during the game too. Yes, I'm like, man, his tempo looks better. And, he looked lighter. He looked like he was enjoying himself again. That's what we used to see. Because, he's a guy who enjoys
walking around with a glove on his head. Just looks like he doesn't have a care in the world.
Well, recently, we just haven't seen that. He's just, everything's kind of tense. He's trying to be perfect and feels like that whatever he's bringing to the table's not enough, and so when you're watching that, it's tough because, again, I've been there. We've all been there, man, like with anything we've done. And it's like you want to say, dude, like, your stuff is too good. Like, look, trust me, it's way too good. But for him, I think he's just going through that at the moment.
So you're not that concerned about the physical?
It could be a situation where if it's a lower, like you said, if it's, structurally elbow, shoulder, I think that he wouldn't be running out here every start. There wouldn't be that. But I think from a more of a less significant in terms of injury, if it's a lower back, you're looking at this going, I can pitch with this. But, man, it bothers you as you get in. You're not getting that same extension. Or
when you saw the velo start to drop. Same thing with Castillo. You saw the velo drop, which, I don't – who's the bigger concern? I mean, Castillo's been pretty solid up until this start. He's kind of a guy – he's not going deep in games. That's just not what he does. He's not a seven-inning guy for the most part. His velocity's down from last season. He's walking a lot of guys. Both him and Bryce both. I mean, you look at them; they're leading the team. Miller's got 21 walks. Castillo 18.
Yeah, they're both going through the same thing. A lot of pitches per at bat, trying to get through the at bat. And you look at too with Bryce. You mentioned the velocity fading a little bit. You go fourth inning onwards. It's taken him 20 pitches on average to get through innings, which is not Bryce Miller. That's not what you're used to seeing. Now, Luis Castillo, similar thing. I think he's a guy who's got that smirk on his face when Woody goes out to the mound with a runner on second. I'm like, man, how is he so chilled right now? Yeah. You're not seeing that. And so they're both going through it right now. So where it's, all right, I'm going to hit a 1-2, and I'm going to throw this pitch. I'm going to make you look silly. And they're trying to be perfect with that when they don't need to be. And then next thing you know, it's 2-2. And then all of a sudden it's a foul ball, 3-2, losing the hitter or whack, hard contact. I mean, Bryce, the fact that Bryce has got, 12% walk rate compared to, when you compare that to last year, he cut that in half. It was 6% last year.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's weird to look at just the stats of this team, this rotation. And your team leader in walks is Bryce Miller, followed by Castillo, 21, 18. The next closest is 8.
Yeah.
Brian Wu has 8 walks. He's 10 behind Luis Castillo. And so it's just the pitch counts are going crazy. There's a lot of traffic on the base paths. You're right. They're probably tightening up. I can't allow this run. I got to be perfect. And it's costing them. They're not going deep into games. They're just it's not working right now.
Yeah, and one other thing with Bryce Miller, let's not forget this either. He went from, go back a couple of years ago, comes up, just lets it fly. Mm-hmm. Good fastball heavy. Last year, it's like, okay, we want you to get through 6 innings. So he dealt with this a little bit at this point last year, by the way, where, you second-guess yourself a little bit. He had to start down in Miami, which, by the way, Mitch Garver was behind the plate the first time. By the way, Mitch Garver's been behind the plate for him 3 times and has never worked out well for Bryce Miller. Right now, I'm not saying there's a comfort level there or anything like that. It was just interesting when I looked at that yesterday. But this year, the expectations are a little different on him. It's like, hey, man, you're a dude now. You're a part of arguably one of the best rotations.
When he had a sub-3 ERA last year. So not just a handful of starts. That was a full year.
Yeah, so it's like, we need you to do what you did last year and then do it again for another 6 months. Right? And so you put these expectations on yourself, and then next thing you know, it's like, man, I can't get through the 4th inning. Man, I can't get through the 5th. Man, look at my pitch count. My velocity's down, or this breaking ball is not quite there, or whatever it is, and it just snowballs. And see, I think he's dealing with that a little bit right now.
All right, quickly before we get to take 2, what do you have more confidence in right now, the offense or the rotation?
Right now, I'd say the offense.
Yeah. So the 7 runs over the weekend, over 3 games, you're just like, that happens.
Yeah, they ran into some swing and miss. They really, a bullpen in the Blue Jays, that a couple of those back end guys, and we saw some back end, a couple 2 nights that, that's like, man, that's literally top 3 in swing and miss and some of the strikeout rates and everything else.
One more again before we get to take 2. Just Yankees series. How big is it for this team, just in terms of just bouncing back and getting this taste out of your mouth? How?
Man.
I know it's early. We're way early in the season.
When we first started, that's the thing. I talked, and you asked me about the confidence in the offense or the pitching. This is you're talking about a juggernaut of an offense. You don't want to walk out of this where all of a sudden you give up a 7 spot, and then all of a sudden, and your offense is striking out 12 times when you look at the box score. That's where you start to feel like that, what we were talking about earlier, where it's like, okay, something's not quite right with my timing yet, and the team lost as well. So there's no music, there's no good vibes around me, and I'm not on an island here, So, yeah, this is a big series. It really is.
All right, let's take 2.
We might have some reinforcements coming to that rotation. So George Kirby made his second rehab start on Saturday in Tacoma. Went 3 innings, did allow 3 runs on 4 hits, struck out 5 and walked 2. Sounds like the plan, though, is to gradually work his pitch count up. So in his first start, he had only 42 pitches, had 54 in this one.
Yeah, so they want him to make one more start, I believe.
One more
That's
start,
what
yeah.
they've said. Yeah, so I don't know.
Do we know how many pitches they're looking at for the next start for him? Did they say?
I don't think
they said, because Justin Hollander spoke on Friday. I don't think there was a number.
Okay, there was a number.
And this was what, 54
on Saturday.
pitches in this one. So I don't know how much they look at results when you're rehabbing. It is surprising he walked 2. That's just not what he does.
Yeah.
But I look, when he's ready, he's going to be a welcome sight.
Yes,
because they need him.
Yeah.
And they need Logan. So
right.
Yeah.
All right, Ryan, we're going to explain the NFL to you. There'll be a chance to work on your American accent. So it is funny. No, MLB, they announced their schedule a year before. It's strange. The NFL makes it a national event. So they have a big schedule release set for Wednesday, and they're teasing out games leading up to it, this whole big promotion. So today they announced their season opener. Eagles will host the Cowboys on Thursday, September 4th. And then the international games are going to be all announced tomorrow morning. They do it big.
So there's no way that you have any idea if you're in the international game, even if you're John Snyder sitting there.
No, the Seahawks probably know.
I'm sure the teams probably know.
Okay.
We'll find out tomorrow.
So they're not sitting. It's not like sitting in a draft room like, yeah, we got the such and such game, and oh yeah, this schedule looks great for us, or this is strength of schedule. None of that.
I'm sure they tell the teams because of logistics.
Fans.
You have to start planning. You have to
Yeah.
start getting all that stuff over there, ship it over there. But fans have no idea until tomorrow morning.
Hey, listen, I did the London series, and they were supposed to be in Paris this year, and that was all set to go. And then all of a sudden they turn around. There is so many logistics that go with that, where the locals in Paris like, we're out. So yeah, they were earmarked to go there. I don't want to throw MLB under the bus here, but MLB was like, hey, let's do it. And then it got to a point where Paris was like, we kind of bit off a little bit more than we can chew. We cannot facilitate
we're good.
this.
Just
yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, it is crazy how big the announcement is of schedules in the NFL and all of that. So we'll find out more as the week goes on. Take 2 is brought to you by Swedish Cyberknife. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife. Swedish.org/cyberknife prostate. Well, he's got a unique perspective on everything happening in the world of baseball. Former GM Jim Bowden will join us next as we continue live from T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob with Ryan Rowland-Smith in. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Baseball's hottest team. Slow down with a sweep by the Jays.
Was this the popping of a balloon, or was this just a little bump in the road?
God, how do you cleanse the palate of that Blue Jays series?
Right.
But it is what it is. It happens.
Tonight, it's the Bronx Bombers in town for the first of 3. Wyman and Bob start our coverage at 2, live from T-Mobile. First pitch at 6:40 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports. And every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here, and you've heard about my success losing 35 pounds in just 8 weeks with the Eastside Weight Loss Clinic plan. I know you've heard from Ryan Rowland-Smith as well. Well, now I want you to hear from someone just like you, a Seattle sports listener. Chad, who lives in the South Sound, he joins me now. Chad, how much weight did you lose?
I lost about 20% of my total body weight. I was down 43 pounds from the start of the reduction phase till it ended.
43 pounds. My gosh, how'd that make you feel? Would you recommend it?
Fantastic. Confident, first and foremost, for me. Much more confident, and then also just healthier, just easier to do things around the house, easier to do things at work. I would 100% recommend it. I can promise you'll lose the weight you want to lose.
Well, that's another ringing endorsement for Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. Yep, Chad started his journey with just a 15-minute phone call. You can schedule yours today at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. Have the same kind of success I did, the same kind of success as Ryan, and the same kind of success as Chad. Go to eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results Results may vary.
Can you take the power of your home internet almost anywhere? Well, with Xfinity, you can. Do more of what you love in the places you go the most with internet and mobile together. Xfinity built a network that's 99.99% reliable. Plus, Xfinity Mobile, well, they have Wi-Fi power boost, giving you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and out on the go. So get the same reliable network in the places you need it the most. Maybe the coffee shop, the grocery store, or at the game. Whatever you're into, you'll love how fast you can do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for a year with no contract. And save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T Plus. Ask how to get a free premium 5G phone. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra after promo. Regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Savings compared to Verizon 5G, Internet Plus One Unlimited Welcome Line, and AT&T Internet 300 Plus One Unlimited Starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot doot, and sometimes it's like.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See dealer for full details and disclaimer.
He's the best catcher in baseball.
Cal Raleigh with a home run.
And he's on Seattle Sports Thursday afternoons all season long.
Anytime you can get wins, that's always huge.
It's the Cal Raleigh Show.
Presented by the Puyallup Tribe of Indians.
Get the podcast on the Seattle Sports app.
Riverside Roofing is offering $1,000 off a new roof replacement. Book a free estimate online, and when you meet with Brandon, that's Don's son, tell him you heard the message on the radio station. Go to riversideroofingllc.com. It's Riverside Roofing, the roofing company you can trust.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bumpin' Stacy.
Rick Riz here for the Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington's Improve Your Play program. Many of our local youth sports teams need help with field enhancements, training, and equipment. Local Pella owners Keith Dashafee and Luke Wilson are stepping up to donate $5,000 to 2 deserving teams. We need your help finding them. Head to seattlesports.com/play to nominate a deserving team in need. Let's help our local youth improve their play this year with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Contest and rules at seattlesports.com/play.
The team at Mazda of Everett is always working hard to make your experience with their team exceptional. Mazda of Everett has over 700 new Mazdas in stock, tariff-free. It's the perfect time to buy a new Mazda. Visit our friends at Mazda of Everett on Highway 99 in Everett or shop online at mazdaofeverett.com. Click the Mazda of Everett price where pre-tariff pricing still applies. Shop their tariff-free selection at Mazda of Everett.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's orchard.com.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital Common Sense Lending.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We are live at T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob with Ryan Roland Smith in for Wyman today and tomorrow. We appreciate him hanging out. We're going to talk with Jim Bowden here momentarily, trying to get him on the phone as the Mariners get set for the Yankees. Yankees are in town for a 3-game series. It's funny, the beginning of the season was all about the torpedo bat because of the Yankees. Well, they hit 12 home runs in the first 3 games, something like that, and Jazz Chisholm's hitting home runs, and everybody's hitting home runs. He's on the injured list now. But it's funny how that conversation about the bats died down pretty quickly. And I remember I might have asked you at the time, like, hey, or maybe it was Morosi, like, is this going to be something we're talking about through the whole season, or is this going to be something that we're going to look at and go, oh, yeah, remember those? And right now, it feels like we remember those. Not that they're not being used; they're just not a conversation piece anymore.
Yeah, like I spotted one the other day. Like, someone was standing there, like, looking around, maybe because the umpire was yelling at the torpedo bat. But it's like this was 3 weeks ago. I remember like, oh, so and so's using the torpedo bat. Wow,
Cal still uses one left-handed.
Yeah, still uses it. Yeah,
only hitting left-handed.
Just only left-handed, which is kind of strange, I guess. But like George Springer has the axe handle. He's had that the whole time. When you first spotted that, you made a big deal. Nothing like the torpedo bats, but I think it's just something that's a new design. If you like it, great. If you like the cup on the end of your bat, how about it?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. And say that again, Matt. Oh, okay. We got Jim joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. He's an MLB analyst for The Athletic and co-host of the Front Office Show on MLB Network Radio. Jim Bowden is with us. Jim, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Great to be back on with you guys.
It's always good to talk to you. And I'm here with Ryan Roland Smith, and we're talking about this Mariner team who was on a heck of a roll. They won 9 series in a row, and then the polar opposite happens, and they get swept by a team in the Blue Jays who were struggling. And I'm asking him as a player, how do you take, is this just, hey, that's baseball, that's how it goes, or is there more concern? How do you view that? I don't know how much of that series you had a chance to watch, Jim, but do you come out of it with any level of concern, or do you just chalk it up to, hey, look, that's baseball and you're not winning every series?
Yeah, you're not going to win every series. I mean, look, Seattle's still in first place. That's how I look at it at the end of the day. Toronto had been cold, and now they got hot over the weekend, which they were going to get hot as well. So I think if you're, Mariners fan, you've got to be happy with the start to the season, especially when you consider the injuries to a couple of starters that Seattle had to deal with.
Jim, this team and the identity of this team was, pitching is the foundation, especially the starting pitching, led every category last year, especially getting deep into games. Like, pitches, innings per start, and, the efficiency was through the roof. I mean, there was something crazy, like 100 of the 162, there were 6 innings or more. This year, it's just not the same pitching. Is there any concern when you're looking at the rotation? Obviously, put aside the fact that Kirby and Logan Gilbert are not quite there yet, but what we have right now, and I'm talking Luis Castillo and Bryce Miller, from what we see there, is there a concern here with this team where that foundation's just kind of basically shaken up and it's not the same?
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm concerned. I think Luis Castillo has lost a little bit of his stuff, right? And so he's going to have to find a little bit of a way to, get outs a little bit differently. And instead of being a top of the rotation starter, he's now probably, a mid-rotation starter, which is fine. I think Bryce Miller will be fine. I know it hasn't been a great start with ERA or 5 after his first 8 starts or something like that, but I have a lot of confidence that Miller will be fine. And, Wu has pitched well. Kirby's injury, as you know, is a big setback, and the injury to Gilbert was too. And they're 2 of your best starters coming into the year, right? They're 1 and 2. So I think what's been exciting has been the offense, right? That's what's been exciting, because they didn't make any changes really in the offseason. They did bring Jorge Polanco back, which is huge with that healthy knee. But, you looked at a team that led the league in strikeouts last year. I was really concerned about the offense, and the offense has been a lot better, I think, than we've all expected, which is why they're sitting there in first. And then, of course, you have the best closer in the league, who I don't think has given up an earned run yet, right? Andres Munoz has been great. So if you have a lead going to the 9th, you win.
Hey, Jim, from your experience, how long into a season would you feel comfortable saying, all right, I know what this team is. I know that this is who they are, identity-wise. Is it 40 games? Is it 50 games? Was there a marker for you where you felt like, okay, we're beyond saying it's early, now I know who they are?
Yeah, I think most GMs kind of looked at the calendar this way, that, you spend the first 2 months seeing what you are. and then you spend the next 2 months trying to get better, and then the next 2 months either getting ready for the postseason or building for next year. So, I think Memorial Day was always kind of the marker. We're getting close to that. We're a couple of weeks away, but I think in general, when you look at the standings, I think teams basically have told everyone who they are. Right now, that doesn't mean that some teams don't get off the slow starts and will be better. And it doesn't mean that some teams don't get off the fast starts. But I think in general, when you look at the Yankees, Tigers, and Mariners, I think they're the three best teams in the American League, and they're each leading their division. And the same thing can be said for the Mets, the Cubs, and the Dodgers, Padres, who are within a game of each other. So I think, we're at the point now where you pretty much know what you have.
Jim, you read an article in The Athletic talking about the biggest disappointments. The Texas Rangers, they just fired their hitting coach. Brett Boone's taken over as the hitting coach. And, they're having a rough start, that's for sure. And that, to me, that was the biggest threat to the Seattle Mariners in regards to the AL West. What have you seen from the Texas Rangers or haven't seen from them that you think's led to this kind of start where you felt like there was so many candidates there in regards to health and everything else having to bounce back to have a really strong offensive year? What do you think the biggest concerns have been there?
Yeah, look, I personally think that Texas is going to be in this race to the end, and I think you're going to have four teams in it, except for the Angels. I think the other four teams are going to be in the race. I don't see any team pulling away myself. Yes, they got up to a slow start, and I think the concern, Marcus Semien has not had a good first 6 weeks of the season, and that's coming off a down year, last year, and you got to be a little bit concerned, has age and decline caught up to Semien a little bit. I think that's worrisome. But the approach, wasn't great. And, the two of the big acquisitions in the offseason, Jock Peterson and Jake Berger, who combined hit over 50 homers last year with their respective teams, came over here and did nothing. Jock Peterson had the worst start of any hitter we've ever seen. And Jake Berger was so bad they optioned him out. And so, they just didn't get acclimated quick enough. They weren't doing the little things. They weren't moving the runners. They weren't getting the guy in from third with less than 2 outs. A lot of guys were just looked like they were swinging for the fences. And they did have some injuries, too. They had trouble in center field. Carter had a poor spring training. Then Taveras was the everyday center field. Then you guys claimed him on waivers. So a lot of things went wrong. But, since Brett Boone got there on Tuesday, they kind of righted the ship a little bit, right? And so even though it's a slow start, they're still, a game under 500? So I think it's a really good offensive team that just got off to a slow start. I think the pitching is going to be better than people think. So I think Texas is going to be in this race. I actually picked them to win the division, and I still pick them to win the division, to be frank.
Hey, just in looking at the Mariners, and you brought up that they brought back Jorge Polanco, a guy who was here last year. It was a dreadful year last year, but they did very little in the offseason. I don't look at him as an acquisition. He was already here. So the new faces were like Donovan Solano, Miles Mastrobuoni, and people like that. So there wasn't a lot done, yet this offense has been on fire. Do you credit that to Polanco and J.P. Crawford just being healthy because they were so dinged up, or do you look at the addition of Edgar and Kevin Seitzer and Dan Wilson and say, well, that's their impact? How do you divvy up the credit, I guess?
All of the above. I do think Edgar Martinez has one of the better hitting minds of anyone we've seen over the last 20 to 30 years. And if the hitters are going to buy into Edgar knows hitting, and he knows how to teach hitting. Brett Boone in Texas is teaching what Edgar Martinez taught him. That's what he does. So Edgar is great at that. But I think, look, Polanco's knee was healthy. Finally, I know the Yankees tried to sign him in the offseason before he went back to Seattle. But, he's been off to that great start, as you know, and J.P. Crawford's on base all day long, right? In the leadoff spot.
Yep.
He's been on base almost 40% of the time. So that's been a huge difference maker for them. And Rosarena has had a really good start to the season as well. He's been getting on base, and he's always going to hit 20 homers and 20 steals. So, I think the offense has done better. And remember, they're doing this without J-Rod getting off to a good start, which I guess we're all getting used to now for whatever reason. But, yeah, they've been more consistent. The thing that stands out to me is that they led the league in strikeouts, and you have basically the same team, and now they're more in the middle of the pack in that area. you know, they're going to walk and they're going to hit homers. That's what this team does, right? Cal Raleigh's been huge. Giving him that contract was big. I think he's got, 12 home runs, something like that, amongst the league leaders, only a couple behind Judge. So it's been fun to watch. Look, I think the injury to Robles is still something not to ignore out of the get-go. I thought he was important last year, and I do think, even though they're off to a decent start, I do think they need to go get another bat. I don't think they should rest on their laurels just because they're sitting there in first place right now.
He is Jim Bowden, MLB analyst for The Athletic, co-host of the Front Office Show on MLB Network Radio. Always a pleasure to speak with you, Jim. Thanks so much for taking the time, as always, and we look forward to talking again.
Thanks for having me on your show. I appreciate it.
There you go. There again, Jim Bowden. If you guys missed any part of that conversation, you'll be able to find it on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. Meanwhile, the Mariners' future has never been brighter, but how do they capitalize on that right now? We'll get into that next as we continue live from T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob with Ryan Rowland-Smith in. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Baseball's hottest team. Slow down with a sweep by the Jays.
Was this the popping of a balloon, or was this just a little bump in the road?
God, how do you cleanse the palate of that Blue Jays series?
Right.
But it is what it is. It happens.
Tonight, it's the Bronx Bombers in town for the first of 3. Wyman and Bob start our coverage at 2, live from T-Mobile. First pitch at 6:40 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports. And every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s. And less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-917-4635 and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-917-4635. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 Gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
Hey, it's Graz here. Getting a quick round or range session in before work makes the day so much more fun and is a big-time stress reliever. Take advantage of one of the 11 local premier courses nearby. Inner Bay, Jackson, Bill Wright, West Seattle, Cedar Crest, Bellevue, Linwood, Walter Hall, Legion Memorial, Lake Padden, and their newest course, the Ocean Shores Golf Course. Practice on the range with Top Tracer at Jackson, Inter Bay, and Bill Wright Golf Complex. Play the courses, play virtual, play Premier, PremierGolfCenters.com.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Headed to the ballpark? Skip the traffic jams, parking fees, and the stress of driving. Make riding transit part of your game day ritual. Roll in with your crew, talk stats, and meet fans. No traffic, no stress. Community Transit riders enjoy seamless connections to light rail and ferries to get to Seattle and beyond. And youth 18 and under ride the bus for free. All in for the win. Plan your trip with Community Transit at ctgo.org/homerun.
The team at Mazda of Everett is always working hard to make your experience with their team exceptional. Mazda of Everett has over 700 new Mazdas in stock, tariff-free. It's the perfect time to buy a new Mazda. Visit our friends at Mazda of Everett on Highway 99 in Everett or shop online at mazdaofeverett.com. Click the Mazda of Everett price where pre-tariff pricing still applies. Shop their tariff-free selection at Mazda of Everett.
Mr. K's Construction reminds parents the fatal crash rate for teens peaks at age 19, and we lose nearly 8 kids every day. Please make a family agreement to never drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs, text behind the wheel, or ride with anyone who is. Always designate a sober driver, call a parent or ride share, and let's bring our sons and daughters home safely. Best wishes to the class of 2025 from the entire team at Mr. K's Construction. Committed to making your home and our community beautiful since 1977.
Hey, fight fans, Bob Stelton here from Wyman and Bob. How'd you like to sit ringside with me at Excite Fight MMA? Seattle Sports is hooking up one lucky winner with 2 VIP tickets. That's right, you and a guest for an unforgettable night of fights on May 24th at Muckleshoot Casino Resort. These seats are right next to the cage, right next to me. You're not going to find them online. This is a one-of-a-kind experience. You can enter right now at seattlesports.com/win for your shot at a fight night you're never going to forget.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
I don't think you're allowed to enter that, Ryan. I don't know.
What's that?
To win those MMA tickets to come hang with me at that event.
Oh, you're going to be there?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I wasn't
Cage
listening.
side. Oh, thanks.
I didn't have the headphones on. I missed the ad.
That's Ryan Roland Smith supporting his good buddy here. Bob Stelton with you. It's Wyman and Bob.
No, sorry. I was sitting here writing notes about the show and about the team and doing my homework so I could give a better analysis for you.
All right.
No, so what do you got? So
yeah, it's MMA event at Muckleshoot Casino
I'd
Event
love to
Center
go.
on May 24th. Have
is
you ever been to a live
this like
MMA
a way you're going to invite me or what? What's the date?
May 24th.
Let's do it. Am I in town? May 24th?
Do you remember when he was on one time and Ryan was like, "Oh, it's like talking to a brick wall. They never listen to me."
Yeah.
That was you right then. Bob said the date 3 times.
I didn't have my headphones
No,
on.
he said it right then.
He just
May
called you a
24th.
brick wall.
Yeah, no, that's true, man. Sorry.
Well, we'll see if we can get you to win some. You go to seattlesports.com/win to enter to win those. But it's cool because it's cage side and it's like a couch. So we're sitting.
Oh, wow.
In like this.
That's awesome.
Couch seating. Yeah, it's.
Do you break it down? Do you do your analysis for the
I
for
could
your
if you'd
special
like.
guests? I'd love
Sure,
that.
if you'd
Seriously,
like to.
I would love that.
Yeah, you might even in those seats you might get splattered with blood.
Ooh,
how about that? Huh? Now you're winning. So yeah, go to seattlesports.com/win if an MMA event at Muckleshoot Casino Event Center is something you'd be interested in on May 24th. Always a cool event. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Meanwhile, our thanks to Jim Bowden who joined us in the previous segment. If you're just tuning in and missed that conversation, you'll be able to find it on the podcast page. Meanwhile, the Mariners, you look at where they rank in terms of their farm system. And they've got an MLB best 9 prospects recently released in the MLB Pipeline's top 100 rankings.
Wow.
9.
That's a lot.
You've got almost 10%.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's wow.
And so at number 19, it's Colt Emerson. At number 36, it's Lazaro Montez. At number 43, it's Cole Young. At number 64, it's Felnine Celestine. 67 is Harry Ford. 82 is Johnny Formello. 83 is Michael Arroyo. Gerangelo Saincha is number 92, and Ryan Sloan at number 96.
Awesome.
Now, Not all of these guys are going to turn into superstars. That's just not how it goes. But it is nice to see that you've built it up and you feel like your future looks bright, or they're going to be, hopefully, at the very least, very valuable trade pieces.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's I don't know how you it's probably you don't like the I look at prospects as currency, and it sounds kind of cold.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely
kind of how I view them. Like they're either part of your future and you're going to build around them, or this is a trade chip that's going to be really valuable and going to bring back a proven commodity.
It's very, I'm not going to say it's very rare, because some organizations like the Houston Astros, for example, can have a really strong farm system but also be at the top of the AL West, right?
Yeah.
The top of their division. But it is rare to have both, where you are at the top of your division and you have a young core of players. You don't have these aging out, veterans that are on the last year of their deal and they're all 35 years old, and you have a really strong farm system to go with it. So the Mariners are in a unique position right now, and you mentioned the currency. I think it's a good reason to say, you know what, you kind of have to cash in some of that currency you have. The last time the Mariners had 9 prospects on the top 100 list, that was in 2021, and you're talking some of the names here: Julio Rodriguez, Jared Kelenic, Logan Gilbert, Emerson Hancock, Noelvi Marte, Taylor Trammell, and George Kirby. Now, you look at that list. All right, Kelenic, look, he's over with the Braves, okay?
In the minors.
In the minors, yeah. But there was a little bit of production there. He was, it did not pan out. And I'm starting with him for a reason, because I want to get to Logan Gilbert, Emerson Hancock, and Julio Rodriguez, and George Kirby, by the way, who are big contributors. So you look at that and go, man, okay, this is a nice little batch of players. Out of those 9, you're thinking, all right, if 4 and 5 can work out, that is huge. Not to mention the fact that it is May. We're getting to a place where you start to develop those conversations, trade talk, where you start thinking, all right, if we're 3 games ahead and we're missing, like Jim Bowden said, a bat or whatever it is, well, guess what? You've got literally some big stock down there in the farm system.
When you look at these names, especially if they're names you've heard over and over and over, fans get attached.
Yeah.
You feel like that guy, whoever that name is, Colt Emerson, I'm just throwing him out there. Colt Emerson, you can't trade him. They've heard his name so often that they think he's a star in the making, and if you get rid of him, you are out of your mind.
Right.
We have no idea what any of these guys are going to do. You're hoping they've got all the tools, you think they've got the right mentality, but you know better than anybody. Guys, they look like they're the full package. They get to the big leagues, and it doesn't work for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Is there anybody on this list you look at and go, I'd be pretty reluctant to give up that guy? Because I do have one.
Okay.
It's Montez.
See, I would go Montez as well.
He's just he may be a complete bust. I have no idea, but just seeing him in person, seeing how big he is such a young guy.
Look, man, and if you're a teenager out there and you listen to this, or if you're a parent of a teenager, I want you to listen closely. Lazaro Montez, look, he could be a bust, but he's super talented. And getting off the bus, he looks impressive, man. He's physically
a big dude.
Yeah,
he's so young.
But the best part about him is the way he interacts. And I'll say this about Julio Rodriguez as well. The way he interacts when he meets someone, the way he communicates, the way he's actually listening when you talk, all these qualities. I'm telling you, being in a major league clubhouse, in the dugout, right, when you see all these handshakes, I'm watching the chemistry inside that dugout. When you have 2 or 3 of them to go into that dugout, it changes everything. And so that's a big one for me. When you mention if there's one player not to touch, I'm going to go Montez. Yes, but the other guy who I just love the dude, man. He's been on my show before. I've talked to him multiple times now. I just think he's super athletic, super talented. Harry Ford, dude, I can't. There was a little bit of talk about him last year around the trade deadline.
Yeah.
Potentially giving up Harry Ford. I was like, please don't. Just don't do it. So he's the guy for me as well. I haven't even looked at his numbers recently, what he's up to.
How does he fit, though? Because you just locked up Cal.
I know. See, that's the other thing, too. I was dying to, somehow get in touch with him and just being like, hey, look, when you look at this, because he loves to catch.
Yeah.
He loves to be behind the dish. He loves to have that control, and he likes to deal with the pitches. He loves catching. Because I've said to him I said in spring training, I said, hey, man, if it's something where it gets to the big leagues quicker, he goes, dude, I love to catch. He'll cut me off in 2 seconds and be like, no, I love to catch. Love that position. However, I mean, we've just watched this with Rafael Devers, right?
Yeah.
If your employer says to you, look, we love you, we want you to be a part of this going on right now, and we can see you transitioning to this position. Go love that position.
Yeah, if that's your way to the big leagues.
Yes, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Unless they trade
Yes.
him and he's a catcher for somebody
Absolutely.
else. But yeah, it's just you wonder how he fits into what they've got, considering the commitment they just made to Cal Raleigh. So we'll see.
But I'm with you though, Montez. I want him to blow the whole park factory out of the water here, man. I just want him to hit absolute tanks and go 40 every year because I mean he's capable of doing it, and he's a good dude. He's awesome.
Yeah, I love the potential of him. Love it. All right, what can we expect from this Yankees team? Well, Erik Boland, who covers them for Newsday, is going to join us next as we continue live from T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob with Ryan Roland Smith. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Baseball's hottest team. Slow down with a sweep by the Jays.
Was this the popping of a balloon, or was this just a little bump in the road?
God, how do you cleanse the palate of that Blue Jays series?
Right.
But it is what it is. It happens.
Tonight, it's the Bronx Bombers in town for the first of 3. Wyman and Bob start our coverage at 2, live from T-Mobile. First pitch at 6:40 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports. And every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Does your yard need shade, privacy, or a little brightening up? Look no further than Big Trees. I'm Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. At our 30-acre location, there are thousands of trees to choose from and knowledgeable staff, including a board-certified master arborist, to help you find exactly what you're looking for. Visit the nursery and learn more about Big Trees at bigtreesupply.com.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer? Can we sleep cooler? Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number Everything Smart Bed sale. Every smart bed and base are on sale during our Memorial Day event. Up to 50% off, plus free home delivery. Limited time. Exclusively to Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover's accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
The first Mariners fireworks night is coming up, and we're starting things off with a bang. Be here on Friday, May 30th for our K-Pop fireworks show, presented by T-Mobile, after the team takes on the Twins at 7:10.
Jorge Polanco, his second home run of the night. He is absolutely on fire.
Get ready for an epic dance party as we light up the sky with a post-game show powered by the biggest global hits. Visit Mariners.com/fireworks to get your tickets today.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See you with the full details and disclaimer.
My wife and I have been married for over 15 years, and I've never had any complaints about my performance in the bedroom. But after I turned 40, things started feeling different. I was gaining weight, losing muscle, and I just wasn't interested in sex anymore. My wife told me her friend's husband went through the same thing, and it turns out he had low testosterone. So we booked a free T-check at Revive Health, and that's when I learned that my testosterone levels were low too. We worked with a provider to create a custom treatment plan, and today, my wife and I are having more fun than we did on our honeymoon. My only regret is not reaching out sooner.
If you're ready to book your free T-check, visit revivemenshealth.com or call 206-529-1111. Again, that's 206-529-1111.
Hey, it's Dr. Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. Spring is here, and I know you want to look and feel your best as you head into this new season. Are you tired of the roller coaster of losing weight just to see it all come back again? Maybe you've heard about the new drugs but are concerned with the possible side effects, or you're taking weight loss drugs but also want to learn how to change your lifestyle for long-lasting results. We can help you. We have a team of health coaches that can support you every step of the way. Schedule your free 15-minute, no-pressure phone consultation online at eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here with Ryan Roland Smith.
Thanks, Mike. I've been hearing for about 2 years now how you did the Eastside Weight Loss Clinic plan, and you lost a ton of weight. So I decided to see what the program was all about, and I'm so glad I did. So far, I've lost 30 pounds. My only regret is not starting sooner.
Join the thousands of people who've lost 20 to 30 pounds or more in just 60 days. It doesn't matter where you live. You can do our program in person in Kirkland or all remotely. Schedule your free phone consultation online at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. That's eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Well, the Mariners getting back to business tonight at T-Mobile Park. They welcome the New York Yankees to town. Game 1 of a 3-game series starts tonight. Emerson Hancock on the hill for the Mariners. You can catch all of the action of that one beginning at 5:30 with the pregame show. 6:40 first pitch right here, Seattle Sports on 710. Meanwhile, other games set to get underway. Guardians playing host to the Brewers. It'll be the Red Sox on the road facing the Tigers. Cardinals in Philadelphia to take on the Phillies. Mets playing host to the Pirates. Braves and Nationals get together in Atlanta. Cubs hosting the Marlins. Rangers welcome the Rockies to town. 7-33 are the Rockies. Oh. And the Astros will play host to the Kansas City Royals.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
We got Ryan Roland Smith in with us today live from T-Mobile Park. It's the Yankees coming to town in game 1 of their 3-game series. We get a closer look at this Yankees team with a man who covers them for Newsday. He's with us here in the booth. Erik Boland is with us. How are you, man?
I'm doing great, Bob. Ryan, thanks for having me on. One of my favorite, I was telling Mike, one of my favorite cities, my 17th year covering the Yankees, and always love coming out here.
Well, you got good weather at least, so that's I mean, it's not overly warm yet, but at least it's not raining, so that's good.
Yes, and from what I understand, you can get a lot of that out here.
Yeah, and you got here just in time for the drum solo, so you're winning. You're winning. But hey, give us just an overview of this Yankee season. We were talking earlier about the first series of the season. The rage was the torpedo bat. It was because of the Yankees. They hit 12 home runs in 3 games, and then now the bat's never mentioned, but. Yankees have continued to hit. Aaron Judge is on fire, and it seems like all is well with the Yankees. Is there anything that concerns you as somebody that covers the team?
I mean, if I was a Yankee fan, I guess, the bottom of the order has been, kind of inconsistent. Not a ton of production from down there. DJ LeMahieu's going to come back this series, see if he's got anything left in his 36-year-old body, which has really been ravaged by injuries going back since 2021. But, look, I mean, you guys follow it close enough. I mean, it's Aaron Judge. And what he's been doing has just been, phenomenal. Paul Goldschmidt, who's hitting .349 with an .898 or 900 OPS.
I didn't see that coming. I got to be honest.
No, I mean, the Yankees were on pins and needles, honestly. I mean, they were desperate to get a first base option. They've got nothing in their system. They got Goldschmidt, $12.5 million, I think it was, 1 year. I will say quite a few people in the Cardinals organization that I talked to after that signing really thought he was going to have a bounce-back year this year. But what he's done has kind of gone under the radar because the focus has been, and appropriately so, on Aaron Judge, who's hitting .409 coming into this series with a 1273 OPS. But Goldschmidt really, hitting, either before Judge Judge or after Judge, wherever they've had him in the lineup, has really punished pitchers all season long, much the way that Juan Soto did last year in the Yankees lineup. But Jason Dominguez seems like he's starting to come on a little bit. But the number one concern for this team is starting pitching depth. Period. End of story. That's going. I know we're ways from the trade deadline, but that's what they're going to be after because they've got virtually nothing in their organization.
Yeah, it looks like you're 13th in ERA in regards to the rotation. Max Fried's just having an unbelievable year. But beyond that, who are some of the guys beyond obviously Max Fried, and Carlos Rodon's having a nice start this year with the Yankees as well. But beyond that, who are some guys that are kind of holding it down in that regard? Because again, I know you mentioned it's a concern, and obviously the Yankees, it's not a situation where you just want to be mediocre. But is there anyone else there who's kind of stood out and said, you know what, hey, he's looked good lately?
Well, I mean, Will Warren had a really good outing the other day, and he would have started the season in AAA to continue his development. He's, one of their top pitching prospects the last couple of years. But because of the preseason injuries to Garrett Cole and Luis Gil being lost for the at least first 3 months of the season, Cole, of course, has gone the whole year with Tommy John surgery. Warren had to get slotted into the rotation. He's had some ups and downs, mostly downs, but he was really good his last time out in Sacramento against the A's. So maybe he's good. That trajectory is going to keep going up. I mean, I've heard some comparisons between a young Will Warren and a young Michael King, who finally last year in San Diego sort of came into his own as a starting pitcher. Ryan Yarbrough has been a journeyman left-hander. He's probably the fifth starter right now. Was really good over 5 innings yesterday. Soft tossing lefty, and because of all the focus on velocity that you have in the game now, a guy like that whose fastball peaks at 90 miles an hour, and he threw a couple of 70-mile-an-hour sweepers yesterday, and you could see hitters standing there saying, what the hell is that, basically. Maybe they can get by probably with him. Clark Schmidt started the season on the IL, but then came in 2 weeks into the season. They have high hopes for him because he was really, really, really good last year before he suffered a lat strain in late May. But look, as you guys know, you need an average of 10 to 15 starters to get through a given major league season. The Dodgers, for example, last year, I think needed 15. Cleveland, who won their division, needed 14. The Yankees actually were lucky and only needed 8 last year. They're not 8 deep right now. Their next guy in line would probably be Alan Winans in AAA. They've Marcus Stroman right now is hurt. His knee doesn't seem to be getting any better. He's got left knee inflammation. So they just, they're keeping their fingers crossed on one more of their starters going down because they would be in some real trouble.
The one thing, at least going into the Toronto series for the Mariners, that they were doing extremely well was making the opposition work in terms of throwing pitches. They led the league in walks, and you see guys with really low averages, but they're on bases, 350, 360, and they'd get into the bullpen. Yankees bullpen, what has that been a strength, a weakness? How has that been so far this year?
It's been really good, and that was one area of their team that was supposed to be exceptional going into the year, and it's been even better than that. And that's including Devin Williams, the all-star closer, who lost his job a couple of weeks ago because he just was, horribly inconsistent. Inconsistent to bad for the most part. And Luke Weaver come in and taken over as closer. Looks like Williams maybe is starting to get on track here. His last couple of outings, but even having to demote their closer a month in or less than a month into the season. Pretty much everybody who's come out of the bullpen has done pretty well for them.
Hey, Ben Rice, I remember he burst on the scene last year. Kind of first couple of games, kind of, all of a sudden you're like, oh, what's the potential here? And then I think he finished the year hitting sub 200 and wasn't, didn't work out. But he's been a bit of a breakout. Did Yankees personnel, did you expect this from Ben Rice?
I mean, the Yankees will tell you that they did, except for they talk up all of their prospects, and everyone's going to be a future all-star, et cetera. So I never take that seriously as long as I've been doing this. But scouts that I talked to from other teams that had Rice in the minor leagues, and then a little bit last year when he had a cup of coffee in the big leagues, thought that there was certainly potential there. And then Rice took it upon himself in the off season to add 10 to 15 pounds of muscle to his body, and you saw almost instantaneously when spring training started, the impact of that. The ball was just coming off of his bat differently than it was a year ago. You talk to people inside and outside the organization. It seemed like maybe he got worn down kind of quickly last year. Certainly, and not breaking any news here, it's just a much different level up here than it is in the minor leagues, and the pitching and the strategy and, you know, the scouting, et cetera. It's just so difficult once you get up here, and he just sort of got beaten down after he had the kind of the fast start his first 3 weeks as a big leaguer. And again, in the off season, he was one of the first guys to go down to the team's minor league complex in Tampa to get his off season work. Started down there in late November, early December. Again, added some muscle to his body, and nobody really wants to DH. They want to be a two-way player, but that was his only chance to make the team, and he went out and grabbed it in the spring, and he started the spring hitting and has carried that right through to now.
How was the news received when Juan Soto made the decision to sign with the Mets? Was that, I mean, he had such a tremendous impact last year with the Yankees. I thought it was a foregone conclusion. He's going to play with the Yankees. They're not going to let him go. Obviously, he got offered the moon and took it. But was he there long enough for fans to get that upset about his departure, or how was that received?
I mean, it's interesting. The fan base was irate because the Yankees never, when they target a guy that they're going to get, they almost never, historically, going back to George Steinbrenner, when the onset of free agency in the 70s, when the Yankees target a guy, they generally get him. And the Yankees, made no bones that they were going to try to get this guy or keep him. But I will tell you that organizationally, once the bidding got to a certain level, there were quite a few people, other than the owner, Hal Steinbrenner, that would have preferred the Yankees tap out because they had so many other offseason holes that they needed to plug. If Soto takes the, $760 or whatever it was, the Yankees' final offer was $760 million, the rest of those significant roster holes, starting with the rotation, and they ended up the first pivot move was, of course, to sign Max Fried, but they had more holes than that to fill. They would have had to fill those basically on the cheap along the margins, because if Hal Steinbrenner laid out $760 million for Juan Soto, he's not going to give Max Fried $218, and he's not going to bring in even a Paul Goldschmidt for 1 year and $12.5 million. And so a lot of people behind the scenes actually breathed a sigh of relief that he ended up choosing the Mets, because they felt that maybe they could have, even though, Soto is a, once-in-a-generation player, a unicorn, all of the things that you've heard about him, and that's all true, but they could actually have potentially a deeper lineup 1 to 9 without Soto if they could have spread that money elsewhere, and that they could have deep in the rotation, deep in the bullpen, deep in the bench, et cetera, with some of that money. Not that they were going to spread out $760 million across the board to 6 different players, and obviously they didn't do that, but they would not have made probably any of the acquisitions that they made had they ended up retaining Juan Soto. So, and here's bottom line. Steve Cohen, who's the richest owner in professional sports, by a long shot, I think, certainly in baseball he is, that he decided, I'm going to get this guy. And if Hal Steinbrenner had matched the $765 that the Mets offered, then Cohen would have gone to $775. And if Hal Steinbrenner had gone to $775, Cohen would have gone to $800. And Cohen just said, I'm going to get this guy and have a foundational piece for the next 15 years. But again, I can tell you that other than Hal Steinbrenner, most people in the organization sort of wiped their brow and said, now we can really go to work and fix this roster.
You guys just down in Sacramento, I need to know, especially from a New York Yankees standpoint, we were just there too, in that minor league ballpark. Was there any feedback from players or personnel, or your experience too, being down in Sacramento?
Honestly, I thought they did as good a job as you could given very difficult circumstances with what they have. And I didn't hear any complaints from players, and actually quite a few guys that I talked to are like, you ever see some of the ballparks we played in the minor leagues, like low A ball, rookie ball, et cetera. The clubhouse, I will say, was probably slightly bigger than the visiting clubhouse at Fenway Park. It's probably slightly bigger than the visiting clubhouse at Wrigley Field, and maybe is about the same size as the one at Dodger Stadium for visiting teams. So, there was more than one shower spigot that was working. Guys will tell you, stories about playing in single A ball where maybe you were lucky if there was one shower that was working. Food was fine. It's just, would you prefer to be in a palatial, big league ballpark? Yeah, absolutely. But I can tell you that, from a cleanliness standpoint, it was better than Oakland Coliseum.
Which may not be setting the bar very high.
No, absolutely. And by the way, I really liked Oakland Coliseum. I'm a sucker for the old throwback ballparks, and that was a throwback.
Hey, before we let you go, what's the status of Giancarlo Stanton? Is he going to? I mean, I feel like every time I read about the guy, he's hurt. That's just been his story. He's productive, but he's hurt a lot. I don't know. Is he a guy that the team is counting on, or is he a luxury? Hey, if he's there, great. If he's not, we know what to do. I mean,
the answer to that is kind of both. I mean, you would say it's probably a luxury, but he is doing much better. He showed up at spring training with tendon tears in both elbows. They called it tennis elbow, but he basically had small tendon tears in both elbows, and he played the second half of last season with that, including the postseason when he was by far their most productive hitter. But it was a pain tolerance thing, and he shut down what he was doing in the off season. He couldn't swing anymore with about 3 weeks to go before the start of spring training. Long story short, a couple of weeks ago, he started hitting on the field. He's been hitting against the traject machine for probably the last 3 or 4 weeks. Since the Yankees have been on the road, he's been at Yankee Stadium taking batting practice, outside. So he's slowly working his way toward a rehab assignment, but they're being very cloak and dagger about exactly when that might start, but they're cloak and dagger about everything with the Yankees organization. I call it the NFLization of Major League Baseball, and the Yankees are certainly at the forefront of that. But I would say, he started the season on the 60-day IL. I think second week of June is a possibility that you might see him back.
Did he have surgery, or is he just rehabbing?
No, if he had surgery on it, then it would wipe out his season. What Giancarlo has told us is, I know what my pain tolerance threshold is with this because he played a lot of the second half of the season with it. Once I get to that point, it's not ever going to be completely healed, but I know what I can actually play with, and when I get to that point, then I'll be back out there.
Wow. Okay. Erik Boland, Yankees beat writer for Newsday. We really appreciate you stopping by, man. Thanks so much for the time, and enjoy your time here in Seattle.
Looking forward to it, always.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you, guys.
There you go. There's Erik Boland of Newsday giving us a little insight on this Yankee team. And if you missed that conversation or any part of the show, want to go watch things again, you can check out our Wyman and Bob channel on the Seattle Sports YouTube page and search for Seattle Sports on all social media platforms to find segments like these conversations and our interviews with Seahawks players, Mariner players. All of that is out there for you. Meanwhile, some things going on around the rest of Major League Baseball. Interested to get your take on this one, Ryan. Look, nobody hates the Astros more than I do.
I know that.
Having said that, when I read that Lance McCullers Jr. and his family were receiving death threats after he allowed 7 innings or 7 runs in a third of an inning, it just enrages me. It is the most cowardly, ridiculous response to a game that I can ever imagine. And I just thought, what is wrong with people that they feel like that's a reasonable thing to do?
Right.
On the heels of somebody going out there and face planting. Look, I'm not rooting for the Astros, and I enjoy their misery, but that's sports hate. You take it to the level of threatening a man and his family because he didn't perform well. I'm just thinking it's the biggest coward move there is.
100%. I think people have that virtual access to players that they think they've got like I'm talking about via social media, direct message or whatever you want to call it. And it's just, you're sitting there at a keyboard or on your phone. And the other part is, too, because now, obviously, sports betting's become a huge deal now. I hear this all the time from players. They get messages because someone's, done their savings in a bet and now all of a sudden they want to take it out on the guy who gave up the runs or whatever it may be.
That's their fault.
Yeah, that's their fault, 100%. So that's a bit of a combination. But yeah, that's super weak, man.
Are you ever thankful that you're not playing in today? Because I mean, social media wasn't a thing when you were playing.
Yeah, I was like one of the first to have a Twitter account. Big thanks to Kevin Martinez.
Was it while you were playing?
Yeah, in 2009. There was like me and two other baseball players that had a Twitter
there's probably
account.
hardly anybody on Twitter at that point.
At that point, it wasn't like, really a cesspool. It was more of just like, hey, good job, man. Like, you might get the occasional. Yeah, sometimes you'd go through some of the messages, whatever. But, I look at that and I mean, where do I start with that whole thing? But it was nothing like it is now. And again, like I said, more recent, I've heard more and more and more over this year, last year especially, is that it comes down to the sports betting part, where someone's lost all their money and put on some parlay or whatever you want to call it on so-and-so to go out and do a good job, and they lose the bet, and then all of a sudden they want to take it out on the player.
Yeah, that kind of stuff makes me nuts. Even though it's an Astro, I'm still that's where I got to.
Were you booing George Springer, by the way, on the weekend?
Of course.
I mean, were you here on the week? Did you come to the games, or you watched them on TV?
One.
Okay. Yeah, you still get the booze from George Springer
Love
for
it.
another year.
Love it.
I thought of you every time.
Love it. I was telling these guys, like Dave always says, I think the reason people out here boo is because you keep the hate alive. I'm like, listen, first of all, they're not taking their hate cues from me. But what I was watching an Astros game, I don't know, a week or two ago. I can't remember where they were playing. They were on the road. But every time Altuve stepped up to the plate, that building went nuts. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, it's not just Seattle. This is everywhere. Yeah. Baseball fans, they're aware of the Astros, what they did, how they handled it. They're working on their own hate,
for sure,
their own sports hate. But it's booing. It's not threatening their family. It's not any of that nonsense. One other note: the Colorado Rockies are beyond dreadful. They have 7 wins. They are 7-33.
Unbelievable.
7-33. So on pace for the worst record by a long shot. They fired Bud Black a day after losing 21-0. Right after a game which they won 9-3. Then they fire him. So I don't know. When you see a team that's this bad, how much of it is a manager? How much of it is these guys should be 500? They're underperforming, or do you look at it and go, look, Chris Bryant's having another surgery on his back. He's been a bust. That signing's been terrible. They don't have much to work with. How do you view something that's that bad?
First of all, it's the Rockies. Anytime I ask anyone in and around the Rockies or people who are in that Denver, who live in Denver, or a good buddy of mine, Tyler Miner, do the World Baseball Classic. He's a huge Rockies fan. He's from Denver, and he keeps up with that team, and he wants to pull his hair out every time I bring him up.
He must be bald now.
Yeah, for so many reasons. It's infuriating. And Bud Black's like, he's one of these, like a Dan Wilson, has this really good rapport with players.
Yeah.
And so you look at that, and it's more of the scapegoat move as opposed to something that may have happened internally where he got into it with players or something. It's like, hey, we have to, pull the pin on this. So I think it's just something where it's like it's a statement move to say, yeah, we're bad. We know we're bad. By the way, we're going to fire the manager to let you know that we care about how bad we are.
We'll still be bad.
Brutal. Yeah, exactly. You're still going to be bad, put it that way.
All right, coming up, there continues to be one area of uncertainty for the Mariners that seems to change from series to series. We'll get into that next as we continue live from T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob with Ryan Roland Smith in. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Slow down with a sweep by the Jays.
Was this the popping of a balloon, or was this just a little bump in the road?
God, how do you cleanse the palate of that Blue Jays series?
Right.
But it is what it is. It happens.
Tonight, it's the Bronx Bombers in town for the first of 3. Wyman and Bob start our coverage at 2, live from T-Mobile. First pitch at 6:40 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports. And every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Can you take the power of your home internet almost anywhere? Well, with Xfinity, you can. Do more of what you love in the places you go the most with internet and mobile together. Xfinity built a network that's 99.99% reliable. Plus, Xfinity Mobile Well, they have Wi-Fi Power Boost, giving you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and out on the go. So get the same reliable network in the places you need it the most. Maybe the coffee shop, the grocery store, or at the game. Whatever you're into, you'll love how fast you can do it with Xfinity, internet, and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for a year with no contract. And save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T Plus. Ask how to get a free premium 5G phone. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra after promo. Regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Savings compared to Verizon 5G, Internet Plus One Unlimited Welcome Line, and AT&T Internet 300 Plus One Unlimited Starter SL Line. Xfinity Internet required. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy knowing we're here for you. BayAlarm.com.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
The success you've already had matters at University of Maryland Global Campus because we're a school for real life. An accredited state university, UMGC lets you earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning, life, and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. We offer affordable tuition and online and hybrid courses. No application fee if you apply by May 30th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See for full details and disclaimers.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen, and PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. I'm excited to work with Harley
Exteriors because they're my type of people. I met with Ray, Chris, and Nick at my home recently about getting our windows replaced. We've been in our home for over 20 years, and virtually every window has a broken seal. We talked about Harley Exteriors and their exclusive, high-quality Eurovinyl Olympic Series window. It's manufactured right here in Washington. They're designed specifically for homes in the Pacific Northwest, helping to maximize energy, efficiency, and beauty. It's a window you can trust to last the life of your home. It's very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And through May, buy 3 windows and get 1 free. Harley Exteriors are big fans of the station, and they're excited to work with our listeners. Get in touch with Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in Puget Sound. Call 833-HARLEY, Harley, or go to harleyexteriors.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We continue live from T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob. We got Ryan Roland Smith sitting in with us. Our thanks to Erik Boland, Yankees beat writer for Newsday, who joined us in the previous segment. In case you're just tuning in and missed that conversation, you'll be able to find it on the podcast page at seattlesports.com after the show. Meanwhile, take a look at this bullpen, Ryan, and hopefully they're not going to be overused in this 3-game series. We're going to get some length out of the starters, hopefully. Yeah. We'll see. But just looking at what they did over the weekend, and the one guy, I can't remember, were we talking to you, or maybe I was just asking Wyman about, with Brash being, they're handling him with kid gloves. You don't know what the routine is going to be. He's not available game after game.
Yeah.
Who do you trust the most in that bullpen beyond Munoz? Munoz is just ridiculous. He's yet to give up a run. There's not even a conversation to be had about him. But say he's pitched 2 nights in a row and he can't close. Who do you throw in there? My guy was Vargas because he's been solid.
Yeah.
He didn't have a great weekend. He gave up 3 earned runs over the way on Saturday. It was kind of a dud for him right on the heels of me saying, I think it's either Vargas or it's, Spire, depending on lefties coming in.
Right.
But just looking at what they did over the weekend, anything in particular stand out to you? Or do you look at that, like even in Vargas's case, like, all right, it's going to happen. These guys are going to give up runs here and there.
Well, first of all, Munoz has just obviously been outstanding, as we know. How do you bridge the gap from the starters who are only going 5.2 innings per start, whereas last year was around 6 innings per start? Man, that's a huge. It doesn't sound like much. It's huge. It's massive, as you know, because less innings right there. First of all, you have to tap into the front end of your bullpen, guys that you're not confident with. I still say Gabe Spire is my guy. I still do,
regardless lefty righty.
Yeah, regardless lefty righty, and his fastball is dominant enough to righties, and that breaking ball he threw. Lucas, he kept throwing fastballs. Like, dude, I said this during the game. I said, you throw a slider down the way here, he's got no chance. And he did, and he made him look stupid. And Lucas is a guy who can handle plus fastballs, and he can handle left on left. And so even though I know he gave up the run that he inherited on the weekend, he's still my guy behind Munoz, 100%. But besides that, man, I'm telling you, Matt Brash coming back, and he's 3 innings into it now. The velo's starting to creep up. Starting a little bit sharper. You are still a good couple of weeks away to really know that you can push him back to back and push him a little bit deeper, a little bit harder into with these games. But man, they've got some question marks. They really do. Troy Taylor, that slider of his, and that's the big thing coming out of the 2020, coming out of last year. Mm-hmm. Last year he looked really good.
Yeah,
and his slider looks different this year. So that's a little bit of a concern for me. So there's some depth issue there with that bullpen. There really is.
Is there anybody that – I'm not going to have you throw anybody under the bus, but anybody that you look at when they come into a game and you're going, all right, buckle up, or I hope you got a cushion, or they've taken turns. I mean, they've Thornton, who's hurt right now, he's a guy who got him out of a horrible situation. Was against the Reds, I think. Came in and got him out of a bases loaded situation. But then we've seen him get lit up as well. Bizzardo, I think, may have pitched more innings than anybody in the bullpen, I think.
Yeah.
And he's been kind of hot and cold, too.
Yeah, very inconsistent. I'm not going to throw him under the bus, but Bizzardo, he's had flashes of really good when he can land that slider in the strike zone. And then there's flashes like, oh, here we go, 2-0 again, and he comes fastball, and it's going to be straight. It's not going to have that same depth because you're trying to make sure you're in the strike zone, and that's when he gets hit. So he's just been inconsistent, like I said. But he's kind of had that I don't want to throw him under the bus because, man, he's been thrown to the wolves a couple times in the sense of he's had to go multiple innings and then get right back out there in a high leverage spot. It's like, man, they're really using him up here. And Vargas too. Look, Vargas is good, but you just don't know yet. You don't know if you're going to have that consistency. So those two guys, and they've filled a huge gap in regards to being able to cover multiple innings because the rotation hasn't gotten deep. But there's still that element of, okay, what are we going to see here tonight? Consistency, which kind of scares you a little bit. But like I said, man, the depth is an issue here with this bullpen, in my opinion. You just lost Trent Thornton. I know he's been inconsistent as well, but you lost him, and you're looking around going, okay, if you can firm up, and I said this when we first got on the air, if you can firm up the 7th, 8th inning, Matt Brash, if he can look like he did just the other night, maybe get another piece here when you're talking trade deadline down the track, and that starting rotation can firm up and all of a sudden you're pushing towards 6 innings, then you're in good shape. But as it stands right now, there's a lot of question marks.
So this team has played 39 games to this point. We talked to John Morosi, and he brought this up, and I'm curious to get your take as a guy who pitched out of the bullpen, so you know about wear and tear. Andres Munoz to this point has pitched in 18 games. He's thrown 18 innings. And he was talking about, hey, that they're asking him to do a lot early. That's something they're going to have to monitor. Like, he felt like they're maybe getting close to overusing him. Do you feel that way, that 18 games, he's gone 18 innings, still has yet to give up a run, but does that seem like a high number for him through 39 games?
Well, a couple of things to think about here. I think he was getting, at this point, when we're talking today, which is May 12th, today as in last year, he had 7 games where it was multiple innings. That wears you out more for a couple of reasons than the amount of appearances he's made. And I say that because this. Number one, getting to this max effort mode in the 8th inning, then having to sit down and then do it all again for 3 outs. When it's highest leverage as it comes in the 9th inning. That wears you out more. Not to mention the fact that you have to be ready and peaking in the bullpen way earlier. So you think about it, from the 6th to 7th inning to the 9th, all that time spent, call it an hour, I have to spend, whether I'm warming up, waiting, and by the way, when you're coming in middle of a game in the 8th inning, you have to be on high alert, and so you go on more max effort, and then you stop. Okay, now I'm going out for the 9th. He did that a bunch last year.
Yeah.
This year, it's been one. And by the way, I spoke to Tony Arnerich about this. It's not, they're like, hey, we're willing to use him multiple innings. It's just kind of worked out this way. And I'm telling you,
it's better, though, right?
100%. Now, yes, he's throwing a lot. He's not leading the league in appearances, but he's still on pace for mid-70s. Anytime you get past that 70-game threshold, that's going to be taxing. It's going to, especially when you're coming off, Munoz he's had Tommy John and everything else. When you get to that 70-plus, you talk to anyone who's gone 70-plus appearances out of a bullpen, Matt Brash, same thing. He had Tommy John the next year. That's when you're really pushing it. However, this year, the fact that you've got the 9th, and you can just be ready to go, warm up. You don't have to be at peak in the bullpen for as long. Come in, and you don't have to sit down, heart rate drop, and then go back out. It's way less wear and tear.
How different is that mentality? Because you were a starter, you've been bullpen, you've done both. I mean, just being a guy, you don't know when your number is going to get called. You get up, just the mentality. Is it? I'm going out here and I'm leaving it all out on the field because I know I'm only going to be in there for.
Yep. 100%. Okay, a couple things on that. A couple thoughts on that. I was suited better mentality-wise in the bullpen. When I was starting, were the days where 2 days, 3 days before, I was trying not to think about it because I'm an over-processor, and I'll pitch that game in my head 5 times before I do it, and I'm just mentally exhausted once I get to the game. Right? I'm not joking.
Before you even start.
Jim Slayton was my bullpen coach, and he said, look, man, and I told him this. I was putting the rotation, and he said to me, he goes, dude, just go as hard as you can for as long as you can. If you go 3 innings, who cares? Just blow it out. And I'm telling you, when I did that, that's when I pitched way better. I was getting deeper into games. I had this stretch where I was going 7 innings, 8 innings, 7 innings, 8 innings, like this. And I was like, man, I'm not even thinking about looking at glancing. I'm going, oh, no, and doing the math on the pitch count per inning and all this. Because you look at, Bryce Miller's dealing with this right now. In the 3rd inning, it's 52 pitches. And you're like, how am I going to get to 6? You know what I mean? You start doing the math in your head. And so I was way better mentality. Some guys are completely different. Guys need to know when they're pitching, right? And so with that being said, And again, having these conversations with Tony Unrich, he's had to, like Legumina, for example, he's very twitchy, and he had to say to him, look, you need to chill out in the bullpen, less max effort before you go in, because guess what? The better you pitch, the more often you're going to pitch, and you are going to hit a wall at some point.
Right.
And so you really have to learn how to manage warming up and just every single day max effort in that bullpen before you go in.
Well, and that's the other thing, and we'll get to the break here in a moment, but just I don't think we take into account for bullpen guys.
Oh, man.
Them getting up, warming up, and then maybe they don't get into the game. But how often are you warming up? How often are you just throwing throughout a season where it's not even on the field, so to speak?
Right, and that's something that I know the Mariners do a really good job of testing health and recovery and stuff like that for these guys daily. Like the bullpen guys, starters, they do it once between each start, I believe. But for the bullpen guys, they do it daily, and which is really smart because it takes a toll, man. It really does. I remember Chris Rietzma, who we had. He was a bullpen guy when I was pitching. He goes, dude, you got to chill out, because I was one of these. I had to be perfect in the. I'd throw a CG complete game before I'd go in to make sure I was ready to go, because I'd be spinning this crappy slider in the bullpen. I'm like, that's gonna get murdered, so I just kept throwing it, like trying to get it down. I was trying to overcompensate. And he goes, dude, you need to throw way less in this bullpen, and I had to learn quick, because man, I started pitching better, and guess what? I was getting worn out. So
I love that you were mentally exhausted by the time your start came.
Oh, yeah.
Inning one, you're up there just going, I'm defeated.
Oh, yeah.
All right, coming up, how does the Mariners offense get back to what they did during that 9-series win streak? We're going to weigh in on that coming up next, live from T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob with Ryan Roland Smith. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Baseball's hottest team slowed down with a sweep by the Jays.
Was this the popping of a balloon, or was this just a little bump in the road?
God, how do you cleanse the palate of that Blue Jays series?
Right.
But it is what it is. It happens.
Tonight, it's the Bronx Bombers in town for the first of 3. Wyman and Bob start our coverage at 2, live from T-Mobile. First pitch at 6:40 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports. And every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
In 6/22/25, new customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things. People. Love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Get a taste of that winning feeling before the buzzer sounds with ESPN Bet's early victory promo.
Simply place a pregame moneyline bet on any NBA playoff game, and if the team you back goes up by 20 or more points at any point in the game, your bet will get paid out early. Available throughout the NBA playoffs at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Download the app today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bumpin' Stacy.
Roof now, pay later. No payments until 2027. 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Since 1968, we've helped homeowners just like you get beautiful, durable roofs without breaking the bank. Book today and lock in summer pricing before it's too late. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free estimate. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Could you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later on your timeline. No showings, no double moves. Plus, Orchard handles all home repairs for you, attracting buyers. Buy before you sell and get top dollar with Orchard. Visit Orchard.com for your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We continue live from T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob with Ryan Rowland-Smith and Seattle Sports on 710. Taking a look at the Mariners out there, getting their cuts in. Some guy named Adam Ray is down there chatting everybody up. Big shot. He might join us here.
See Dave Sims down there?
Dave Sims. All the heavyweights are down there.
That's
Dave
right.
Sims, Adam Ray,
big couple days.
Riz, all the big shots are down there. So Adam will join us sometime in the 4 o'clock hour, it sounds like. I think they've got him mic'd up. He's doing some stuff. He said something that is he doing your Top Step
he is.
podcast on Wednesday?
Yeah. Filming it, yeah. It'll come out in a couple of weeks.
So
Mike,
he's
in
going
case you're wondering.
Is he going to come to your place?
No, we're going to do it right here in the seats.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So we'll see how that goes.
That's nice. Did you talk to his people? Did you guys have to work out arrangements and payments and things like that?
Well, usually, I got to pay him. It's a lot of money. No, I'm kidding. No, dude, I'm going to give it to him, though, man. He is a massive Mariners fan.
Oh, yeah.
Huge.
I mean, he's just a Seattle sports fan.
But it's impressive because look, when I meet people who are from Seattle and I'm a bit of a Mariners fan, but they live in another city, so then it's not in their face all day long. But he goes out of his way to keep up with your guys' show. He's always texting in every time.
Yeah. And wherever he's at in the world.
Or I'll be doing a game and he'll text me. He goes, I'm just in whatever city and I made some comment. And he's like, critiquing a comment. I'm like, man, he's really watching these games, man.
You're like, leave me alone. I'm trying to work.
Wow.
Well, and then anybody who's watched any of his stand-up his specials, or you see him on YouTube, he's always rocking Mariner or Seahawks gear or Sonics gear. Whatever city he's in, he's wearing it on stage.
Always.
So yeah, Adam Ray is going to be joining us at some point later on in the show. Meanwhile, what in your opinion, the offense, we talked about it to open the show, for those of you that just tuned in. Mariners offense in 3 games against the Blue Jays piled up 7 runs in total. Not what they had been throughout this season. And I think, like I was telling you, for some people that are just committed to being mad at the team or they stink, you just wait. You know, they're desperate to be right about them not being good. So this was their first chance to go, see? Yeah, there's the real team. I'm like, so the real team is the one we saw in these 3 games and not the previous 9 series. Those didn't count as much as these 3 games. So let's take it easy. But what did you see in these 3? Did you see them stray from what they've been doing? They didn't walk as much. They struck out more. Or was that just a result of, hey, man, you face some tough pitching? How did you size up the offense?
I think that some of the late game offense that we saw, and a good offense can match up with really tough pitching and handle it and get on base, walk, get that hit with 2 strikes. We didn't see that as much in this series. Now, you go back to that Friday night, and they got really unlucky, man. I mean, defense all over the place. From Julio hitting that ball down to third base.
Was that 111 miles?
111, and that was loaded base. And Kevin Gausman's looked around. He's like, oh, like giving this little half, like, fist pump. Like, yeah, dude, you got bailed out.
Yeah.
And then Ben Williamson, by the way, showing some big boy pop, hitting that ball to center field. Yep. Gets robbed by Varsho. Again, Kevin Gausman's like, oh, yay. I'm like, dude, you got bailed out. But later on in games, the Blue Jays have the highest swing and miss rate of any bullpen. They got like a 4.5 ERA. But when it comes to swing and miss, when you face the backhand, man, you are facing some good arms. They ran into a bullpen which was extremely tough. You go back to that Sacramento series, and they had those come from behinds where they were down, and that could have gone either way. You needed some luck. They didn't have the same overwhelming swing and miss stuff in Sacramento. I'm just using that as an example. However, if you say, oh, well, look, that's who they are, they got exposed. No. They've taken care of very good starting pitching and good bullpens in this nine series, the series that they won. For example, getting Garrett Crochet on that last game in Boston for Max Meyer, who's got a high swing and miss rate on the slider. They handled him. And down the list, Jacob deGrom handled him. So I'm looking at this going, they can handle that pitching. They just ran into some back-end guys with the Blue Jays that handled them late in those games.
Yeah, it's this is going to be an interesting series. It's funny, you know, we were talking to our guy Erik Boland from Newsday, who covers the Yankees, and we were talking about the Mariners' offense and how adept they were at working the walks and making pitchers work. And then I looked, and the Yankees lead Major League Baseball in walks. The Mariners are like 2 behind them. It's like 164 to 162. I'm like, oh, okay, so he can relate to what I was saying there.
Oh yeah,
because at one point the Mariners led all of Major League Baseball in walks, and now they're down by 2.
Now, switching gears to the Mariners pitching. A little bit of a concern. A couple guys, we saw Bryce Miller again struggle. He just doesn't look himself. Doesn't look like the 2024 version of Bryce Miller. We saw Luis Castillo get frustrated, struggle a little bit as well. That's concerning. And you are walking into, you talk about the Blue Jays getting swept by them. Well, guess what's right around the corner? No off day. You walk into the toughest offense easily that you are going to face. You mentioned the walks, home runs are up there. They're even top 5 when you're talking some of the other numbers too, with on base, batting average, everything else. So this is going to be
number 1 on base. They're tied with the Diamondbacks for walks, 162. Mariners have 161. But yeah, they got the best on base in baseball, best slug in baseball. Best OPS in baseball. I'm just going through all of these. Let's see. They're 3rd in batting average as a team. They're just behind the Padres and Dodgers. But I mean, this offense is just ridiculous.
So this is going to be a massive test, man. And again, your weak link right now, I hate to say it, and I can't believe I'm saying this, reinforcements to come. I keep padding this comment, by the way. Is the starting pitching. And, man, I'm telling you right now, they're going to be up against it. Emerson Hancock tonight against this Yankees offense.
To your credit, after Hancock got lit up, well, prior to him going out, you were singing his praises, excited to see him. Then he went out in 2/3 of an inning, just got his brains beaten in. But since that moment, he's looked like Emerson Hancock from last season, where he's I feel like he's just ultra reliable in that I know I'm going to get 5 or 6, 3 runs or less.
Don't tell him that, though. And what I mean by that is this. If let's say you walk down and he's probably hanging out by the dugout right now because we're at the ballpark.
Probably hanging out with Adam Ray.
Yeah, it's probably, trying to, you know how when you meet someone funny and you're trying to keep up with the humor? Like when I'm hanging out with Adam Ray, I feel like I've got to be extra funny somehow.
Yeah.
And it's just lame. Anyway, but with Emerson Hancock, if you said to him, "Hey man, you've been really reliable," to me,
they don't want to hear that.
He doesn't want to. No, he doesn't want to hear that. He wants to get that swing and miss pitch. He wants to get that weapon with 2 strikes. So what I'm noticing with Emerson Hancock the last couple outings, yes, he has been that guy who's been kind of very reliable, get ground balls, get out of innings, everything else. I feel like there's still that for him. There's that push to try and get that extra little swing and miss out of him. And I feel like, man,
is he that guy though? Does he have that? I feel like when Bryce is on and when Woo is on and Kirby and Logan, there's an electricity. There's you see that they're special. When Hancock, I feel like he's good. I don't feel like he possesses that, like his ceiling.
And it's not a knock, right?
He's a guy that's perfect for the rotation. I felt like you had at one point 5 ones in your rotation. He'd be the one guy that would be a 3 or really good rotation, be a 3 or 4.
And he's in the last couple outings as well, even going back to, well, not so much the Red Sox series, he was dominant. He had that swing and miss there. But you go to the Reds outing, I'm talking about coming back from AAA, the Reds outing and the last couple with Emerson, you feel like it's taking him a little bit to get settled in, a little bit too much middle of the plate, and then all of a sudden he settles in, and then he's that reliable guy.
Yeah.
I just feel like, and again, he's facing the toughest offense in Major League Baseball, bar none, in the Yankees. But I feel like, man, it's in him to be that have that electricity. It's in there. But at the same time, man, again, I'd never say this to him, but right where you're at, man, you're good.
Yeah. I mean, he's since that opener, and he got sent back down. Since he's come back up, I feel comfortable.
Yeah.
I feel comfortable
for sure
in what I'm going to get from him.
By the way, tomorrow you got Brian Wu up against Max Fried. That's going to be awesome.
Oh man, they need to somehow find a way to get this one.
Yeah,
get off on the right foot. All right, are you out of here? Are you rolling? Or
no,
are you
I'm
hanging?
good. Let's hang. Let's do it.
You got time to hang for a bit?
Yeah, I can hang out.
Okay,
you talked me into it.
All right. All right.
I don't want to upset Bob Stelton over it. Yeah.
All right. Ryan's going to hang out for a little bit longer. Meanwhile, the Mariners have a major decision to make with one member of their rotation. We'll get into that coming up next. Live from T-Mobile Park, it's Wyman and Bob with Ryan Roland Smith. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Baseball's hottest team. Slow down with a sweep by the Jays.
Was this the popping of a balloon, or was this just a little bump in the road?
God, how do you cleanse the palate of that Blue Jays series?
Right.
But it is what it is. It happens.
Tonight, it's the Bronx Bombers in town for the first of 3. Wyman and Bob start our coverage at 2, live from T-Mobile. First pitch at 6:40 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports. And every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Riverside Roofing is offering $1,000 off a new replacement right now. That's huge. $1,000 off. Quite the incentive for homeowners to book their roof replacement right now. It's Mike Salk here, and it really is a great time to do it. These days are getting long, right? Sunsets after 8 o'clock. Crews can get your roof done quick. So take advantage now before demand spikes this summer, making those repairs costly and time-consuming as well. Here's what you got to do to claim your $1,000 off from Riverside Roofing. Book a free estimate from the website, riversideroofingllc.com. And then you'll meet with Brandon, that's Don's son. Just tell him you heard the message here on the radio station. $1,000 back in your pocket, and yes, a brand new roof over your head. And while you're there, ask Brandon about their 35 years of local experience, GAF Master Elite certification, which puts them in the top 3% of roofers in the nation, and of course the catch-all system, which they use to keep your yard and driveway totally free of debris like nails or shingles. Go to riversideroofingllc.com. Remember, Riverside Roofing is the roofing company you can trust.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See for full details and disclaimers.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See for full details and disclaimers.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Can you take the power of your home internet almost anywhere? Well, with Xfinity, you can. Do more of what you love in the places you go the most with internet and mobile together. Xfinity built a network that's 99.99% reliable. Plus, Xfinity Mobile, well, they have Wi-Fi Power Boost, giving you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and out on the go. So get the same reliable network in the places you need it the most. Maybe the coffee shop, the grocery store, or at the game. Whatever you're into, you'll love how fast you can do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for a year with no contract. And save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T Plus. Ask how to get a free premium 5G phone. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra after promo. Regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Savings compared to Verizon 5G, Internet Plus One Unlimited Welcome Line, and AT&T Internet 300 Plus One Unlimited Starter SL Line. Xfinity Internet required. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Mariners getting back to business tonight as they welcome the New York Yankees to town. Game one of their three-game series coming up tonight. They'll send Emerson Hancock to the hill, looking to get him back in the win column. You'll catch all of the action of this game coming up beginning at 5:30 with the pregame show. 6:40 first pitch right here. Seattle Sports on 710. Other games going on right now. They're in the top of the fourth in Cleveland. No score between the Brewers and the Guardians. Top of the second in Detroit. Tigers out to a 2-0 lead over the Red Sox. They're in the top of the second in Philadelphia. No score between the Phillies and the Cardinals. Pirates and Mets about to get things underway in New York. Same is true for the Braves and Nationals in Atlanta. Cubs playing host to the Marlins. Rockies looking for their 8th win of the season. They come into Texas with a 7-33 record, facing off against the Rangers. Astros hosting the Royals. Padres and Angels get together in San Diego. And the Giants play host to the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Continue live from T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob with Ryan Roland Smith in for Dave Wyman today and tomorrow. We appreciate having Ryan here. As we'll turn you over to the pregame show coming up at 5:30. But we opened the show talking about the series. Obviously, it wasn't what anybody wanted to see offensively or with the pitching. Bryce Miller, a bit of a story coming out of that. He's a guy who just said he hasn't felt right. He said that a couple of weeks ago. And then a couple of comments from him after the game. Want to get your thoughts on. First of all, this is him talking about just trying to figure out what is going on.
I don't know. It's been frustrating. First 8 starts, I've had majority of the games where I haven't felt good, and I've had stuff, kind of nagging and lingering. And I think going into this week, it was more of a mentality change. Like, I felt decent, body-wise, but the mentality change was the main thing I was focusing on, and I think that in itself, it helped. This game's really, really mental, and especially whenever you're struggling, it's hard to stay off of your heels. And I think the past few weeks I've been pitching on my heels. And
Lefko, was that after this most recent start?
Yeah, yesterday.
Because that almost sounds verbatim to the one we played. Literally, I was thinking, we threw to the wrong cut, because we played almost verbatim that cut from 2 starts ago. So he sounds like a guy who's he's searching. Like, you hear him there. And in the other cut, he leaned on the mental part, like you don't want to get into the mental part of it too much. And he sounded like he was in the mental part of it. But what do you think when you hear that?
Well, one thing, he's pretty honest when he talks about the mental side, and everyone deals with that. It's not like, it's just Bryce Miller. That's who he is. No, that's everyone. But he's a lot more open about that. And I remember I talked about that before the game. This is a big outing for him, for a confidence, confidence booster for him, really. And just to get some of those big swings and misses, get that good fastball at the top of the strike zone for
and
once.
He started off well. It looked like, this looks like Bryce Miller from last year.
Right, and the pitch count was in good shape and the whole bit. And but there's just moments there. There's moments where, I said this earlier on the show, it's where when you are struggling, you're trying to do a little extra or something different to what you were doing prior, and you have that mentality. This is what happens where you're like, oh, man, okay, fastball down and away. You have that mentality saying, all right, I'm going to throw this down and away when things are going well. Right. I'm going to throw this fastball down and away, and best thing they're going to do is weak contact, and then it's just conviction, whack, and you throw it. Now, who knows what happens after that? But when you're struggling, you're like, okay, man, I'm going to throw this pitch down and away. Man, if I miss it like I did last time, or if I miss it like I have been, it's going to get crushed. So he threw a pitch, the George Springer home run. It was a 1-1 pitch. Mitch Garver shows the glove up. That's a place where Bryce Miller lived last year. Good riding fastball at the top of the strike zone. No, sometimes he missed, whatever. And you could tell it was just that split second, like, don't make a mistake here. Stays middle of the plate, whack. And you could just see the energy, just the deflation out of him. It's a tough place to be, but the thing is, we're 8 starts in. Now, you usually have 30. He's nearly a third through. And so there's just so much of this compounding going on. So it's tough. It's a tough spot to be in. It really is.
Yeah. One more from him, just explaining that he wasn't feeling right after a few innings.
Like today, felt good going into the game, obviously, and just kind of 3rd or 4th inning, kind of had some stuff that didn't feel good and didn't feel normal like I have in the past, and I don't know. I don't want to say too much on it, but just haven't been able to. In the past, it felt like get through 6 innings. It's a breeze. I feel as good as I do in the 6th as I did in the 1st, and it's been a struggle to have that feeling so far. So
he's putting it out there a lot about the physical part of it. I just didn't feel good. I haven't felt good. And I would love to know what the Mariners have done on their end to sort of remedy this. Like if they run him through the bat, I just can't believe they'd run him out there if he's not physically ready. So I'm not saying is he making an excuse, but is it just him searching and I don't feel right and things just aren't lining up right, because I'm looking at it going, all right, if he's physically just not been right, as he's verbalizing it, should they sit him? I mean, they don't really have the luxury of, we got this guy to take his place. But, I mean.
No, I'm interpreting that as in either two things. One, all right, you got like a niggling back. But you know what? I can still go pitch. Last year in 2024, I had some niggling back issues. For example, I'm still going 6 innings, like you said. Or the other interpretation I got is my timing and rhythm is off, but I had that timing and rhythm could be off last year, still able to get through 6. Why is it just so magnified now and keep me where I'm at right now? And the walk rate's through the roof. Pitches per inning, especially from 4th inning onwards, is around 20 pitches per inning. The velocity fades a little bit. Maybe that's because he's overpriced. So a lot of that, I think, is coming with like, man, I wasn't perfect last year, yet I was able to get through 6. This year, I feel like I have to be perfect to get through 6. And so I think that's what I'm dealing with, what he's dealing with right now in regards to the mental side.
So how, in your opinion, how do you remedy that? Is it just, hey, you keep running him out there, you keep trying to juice his confidence? I mean, do you put it on Cal or Garver, whoever's catching him that day, to really be on top of the, I don't know, positive, making that mound visit to say, look, man, you've got the stuff. Your stuff is your stuff is working. You're fine. Just let it rip. Or, I mean, what's the solution, I guess?
Yeah, it's
and I'm sure it's unique to every individual. What would work with you maybe wouldn't work with him, but what helped you when I'm sure there were times you were struggling and your rhythm was off. Was it a word from the catcher, your pitching coach, or
well, there's just so many thoughts that go on inside your head. For me, the thing that helped was just simplifying everything. I know that sounds cliche, and I know that's not some scientific answer. It's anything you do in life. If you simplify it, you think you're going to have some success. Look, Bryce Miller, he throws so many different pitches. He now all of a sudden has like a mix, 2 strikes. It's kind of weird. He's throwing this curveball, knuckle curve, right? He's throwing that curveball with 2 strikes. Scrap it. Go fastball split. Be predictable. Get to 2 strikes and go, you know what? I'm just going to go blow doors at the top of the strike zone, or I'm going split. Righties and lefties. And just simplify everything. Don't try and get to the perfect spot at the top of the strike zone. And again, easier said than done, coming from me. He's got way better stuff than me. He's had way more success already in his career. However, for me, that's kind of where I would get to. I'm going to throw a 2-seamer. I'm just going to let that thing sink. I'm not going to try and be perfect down and away. I'm just going to let that ball sink and see what happens. And you just do that from inning number 1, and you just try and build off of that. Again, easier said than done, because I guarantee he's trying to do that right now.
Well, and I'm sure the team is trying to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure, Woody's out there trying to figure out the right message, or maybe looking at film. Is there a mechanical thing going on here? But when he keeps leaning on the physical part of, I just don't feel right, in 3rd or 4th inning, I started feeling some things. I'm not going to get specific. I'm going, well, what are we talking about? Is that an elbow? Is that a back? Is that a shoulder?
I don't think it's – I still go back to thinking it's just like, he's mechanical rhythm, or it could be a back. I don't know. I'm just thinking it could be a calf. I don't know.
Well, it's so cryptic and vague.
I know. Because I think he's trying to express, and I love it about Bryce Miller. I think he's trying to express the fact that something's off with me. I know that. And last year I could just roll through 6 innings even when I fell off. This year I can't. That's what he's dealing with right now.
Is this where the sports psychologist comes into play?
I mean,
did they have those when you were playing?
They had one guy you had to go seek out. It was like Major League Baseball had one guy. No. Oh, man, I tried it all.
Has them now, yeah?
I've had some good ones and bad ones, and I've even gone and third party and tried to seek out. I even got hypnotized. Hypnotherapy.
Did you actually get hypnotized?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Not like,
having you bark like a dog.
Maybe I should have done that. No, not like it. What do you call it? There's 2 different ones. Lefko, help me out here. You're looking at me like I got 2 heads. Hypnotherapy, right? Where you go and lay down and you go a little deeper. I did that. I was laying on a couch in Seattle at this lady's office.
But you were aware of what was going on.
Oh, yeah. 100%. Oh, yeah. Okay. I wasn't jumping around the room. No.
Is that how you got your American accent?
Yeah.
You're going to talk like an American.
Tapped into another personality of his.
No, it was like, trying to, I don't know, whatever.
Well, every team now has, I don't know.
We had that too. And some of it was super cringy. I'm just like, whatever. And then some were amazing. The guy we had at the Olympics in 2004, going back there, he changed my career. He literally changed my career. He was, I'll keep it quick. He was that dude who, I used to go into a game, into a start. You had to have the headphones on. You had to focus. You had to sit in your locker room. Couldn't talk to anyone. You have to focus on the game. Focus on the game. I don't know if it's because of ADHD or whatever I have mentally. I can't do that. Like I'm all over the place. So we did this profile, and he said, "You're a mosquito." I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You're not some." Like he had these other examples. He goes, "No, you are the most successful when you are talking to people, cutting your sentences off." No headphones on, you know, blah, blah, blah. And so he gave me these list of things. So I'd go into a game, and the whole thing was in the clubhouse, you couldn't talk to a starting pitcher.
Yeah.
You weren't allowed to talk to him, right? You know that because you know the etiquette. You know, just leave him alone. And so I went into and said, hey, just everyone talk to me. And I was roaming around I was there during batting practice. I was yapping.
And out there shagging fly balls and stuff?
I did all that. And it just took me out to this place where I was way so hyper focused and it just helped. It just helped me relax me. And he gave me all this other stuff, man. I'm telling you, he changed my career. He really did.
I wonder what they could say to, I mean, something as simple as that, where you're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a mosquito flying around. Everybody's swatting at me.
By the way, his name's Phil Jauncey. He's actually American. He's an American guy, but he was with our Australian team. So, yeah. But
yeah. I'm guessing they're exhausting every avenue with Bryce Miller.
Yes.
He's too crucial to their success.
Yeah.
You know, so you got to find out.
Yeah.
First of all, you got to make sure nothing physically is going on.
100%.
Right?
Yeah,
with the arm, the elbow, all that.
Yeah.
It's just when he keeps bringing it up like that. Like I honestly thought we were playing the wrong cut. That sounded tone and the words. It was verbatim what he had said 2 starts ago.
Yeah.
Where he's like, you know, a lot of this is mental, and I just haven't felt good. You know, 8 starts in, I haven't felt good. I'm just like, okay, what does that mean? You know, so, and he sounds like he's got something. He's like, I don't want to get too specific. I'm like, all right, well, what does that mean?
Man. He's really searching for it.
Yeah, so we'll see what they're able to do. I mean, the problem is, you know, look, if you had a fully healthy rotation, maybe they would sit him for a little bit.
Right.
Say, all right, let's call up Hancock, get him in here, give Bryce a, couple starts off, get him right. But you don't have that luxury.
No,
now.
you don't. No.
So we'll see. Meanwhile, we're anticipating the return of George Kirby, and Justin Hollander back on Friday talked about his progress and the potential timeline for his return.
Obviously, a tough one today,
Nope.
George, he will start tomorrow for Tacoma. He will need probably one more, not for pure pitch count reasons, just he didn't have a spring training. So the idea of going out there and not having experienced a lot of things that you would experience over a typical spring training and building up not just the ability to go throw 75 or 90 pitches in an outing, but then how that makes you feel and being able to repeat it the next time 5 days later is important. So the plan would be pitch tomorrow and then pitch one more time, and assuming everything goes well, then we would assess for it. But I do think it's making sure we do the right thing for George and getting him ready to go.
So, one more start. He just had the most recent start. He actually walked a couple guys, gave up a couple runs. Again, I don't know how dialed into actual results they are versus how did you feel afterwards? How did you recover? How many pitches were you able to throw? So he'll have one more start. And Hollander also mentioned a tentative range of Kirby being activated towards the end of the next road trip, which is the Astros, May 22nd through the 25th. So
during your MMA event.
That's right.
See, I know the dates now.
Now the register's with you.
Yep.
But what do you think in terms of him being effective? I know we're all excited to see him back, but is it going to be once he is back? Hey, it's going to be a few starts before he's George Kirby again.
Yeah. He was 95 to 90. I think he was topping out at 97 velocity wise. So that's number one, right? Just a quick, that's the quick answer in regards to stuff wise. Everything looks good. Now shoulders are always tricky. We know that. The thing is with this. This is what I worried about. When Logan Gilbert went down and the starting pitching hasn't been the same, you have that feeling like, okay, well, George Kirby's right here, and he's going to try and talk him into, hey, I'm good. And then you cut off that last rehab outing and bring him out here. I wasn't big on that. And again, look, I hate slow playing these because I've been in that situation where I've done these rehab assignments. Like, really, I need another one. Let's go.
Yeah.
But at the same time, as long as when he comes back here, you're probably looking at 85 pitches. You're probably looking at, you know what, if it's stressful innings, second and third inning, hypothetically, you could go 4 and done. You know, you could be looking at that, so don't get frustrated. You're thinking, because it's going to be a welcome sight to see George Kirby. He might be carving, and all of a sudden you're like, man, he's going 5 innings, that's it. That's just kind of the way it goes, and you've got to be careful with that because, man, there's a lot of baseball to go.
Yeah.
And I said this when we first jumped on air. This team is going to the playoffs if the starting pitching can be the foundation. I know we've seen a bunch of offense. I get all that. The offense doesn't have to be as good as it has been, but this team will get there on their starting pitching. So if it means second half, if he's good to go for he's going to be ready before that. But if he's pushing 100 and you push him 105, and it's George Kirby like we saw a couple years ago, that's second half George Kirby.
Right.
Right now, just get him that good feel. If it's 80 pitches, 5 and dive, 4 innings, whatever, that's the way it's going to go.
When you did a rehab start, what was the focus? Like, would they say, hey, Ryan, we're not worried about strikeouts or runs. We got a pitch count in mind, and we want to see how you feel? Or what was the goal?
The first actual game where you're facing, well, not facing hitters, but in live, you want to wake up the next morning and go, hey, I'm good. I can go play catch. I can throw my bullpen the next day or the day after. That's always the next day. How do I respond? Because when you throw a bullpen session, you throw 35 in a bullpen or a sim game, that's nowhere near facing actual hitters and response 60 feet away. By the time you get to where he's at right now, you want to get to a place where it's like, all right, I've got you in a 1-1 count, and I'm going to this pitch to get to 2 strikes. You want to go game mode.
Okay.
Besides physically, yeah, of course, physically you want it to be good. But you want to get to a place, personally as a pitcher, where you can walk out and you're going to face the Yankees or the Orioles, whoever you're facing, and you can be really comfortable to go, I'm throwing this split to this lefty, 1-1 to get to 2 strikes, and it feels great, and the reaction is what I want to see from the hitter, and it's got the right ball behavior and all that. Now I'm good to go.
So you're treating it like a real game.
You have to. So I know I had to, man. I had to, because put it this way, I had one rehab outing. I think I gave up like 12 earned runs. I'm not joking. It was against Reno. I swear, it was against Reno, and I was like, "Oh, this is not good." Because
I'm a big leaguer.
You still want to be impressive, like to your team, man.
Well,
like,
yeah.
And I remember coming back. I'm like, okay, next one. All right, I'm sequencing. I have to sequence. If I throw a fastball down the way to a lefty, I'm throwing that slider off that fastball. If I'm that change-up, I want to get that change-up off the end of the bat to get a ground ball to this righty, off that fastball, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to go into game mode where I'm really sequencing. I have to have that because I can't come off this game where, I just gave up a boatload of runs. But physically, I'm good. No. If I'm going to go face these dudes, these behemoths 60 feet away, I need to feel right with that sequencing.
So is there a mindset as a pro who's rehabbing in the minor leagues, like, I should be dominating every one of these guys? They're minor leaguers.
No, AAA, there's still some studs, man. There's some dudes, like some big prospects, A and B. There's some dudes who've played in the big league. So, yeah, I don't expect just to dominate it, but I do want to get that 60-foot reaction from the hitter when I throw my best slider with 2 strikes.
Yeah.
Left on left, best slider with 2 strikes. Or I want to see him jump with that breaking ball. I want to see that good, tight spin. Oh, there's that reaction I need before I go pitch here.
So you were a big leaguer. You were rehabbing in the minors, and you gave up 12?
Yeah, I think it was something ridiculous, something insane like that. And by the way, no home runs. None of them are home runs.
So were they just lacing?
Just lacing. They were swinging at every, like, I swear, I think the first pitch, or at least first and second pitch of the at-bat was getting swung on. I was like, oh my man, I can't get anything past them early. Like, that's how it was. But at the same time, I was trying to get that good feel. I vividly remember I wanted to feel my head and my foot and everything feel right. And I just didn't want to, I wanted to wake up next morning, arm feel fine. But but after that, that rattled me. The next guy was like, okay, I need to get this sequencing down.
So you felt physically fine, but mentally you were a little.
I wanted just mechanically everything timed up, but oh my God, I was driving home, I was rattled. I was driving home going, oh man, what happened?
I don't know if I can pitch in the big leagues.
Yeah, exactly.
Gave up a 12 spot to Reno.
Exactly. Oh man.
Well, he's got one more to go, so we'll see what he does in that, and it'll be interesting. He threw 54 pitches in his most recent start. Again, looking at his pitching line, it wasn't awesome. He gave up 3 runs. He walked 2, which is way out of the ordinary for him. I mean, even if he gives up a bunch of hits, he tends not to walk guys. So, maybe it's going to take a bit before that command comes back. But yeah, he's going to be a welcome sight. It's just trying to figure out what is he going to look like initially versus what he'll be at the end of the season.
Yeah.
So talk more about that. Meanwhile, we have a contender for the worst quarterback room in the NFL. Plus, the Seahawks find out tomorrow if they're playing an international game. All of that is coming up next. It's Wyman and Bob with Ryan Roland Smith in live from T-Mobile Park. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Baseball's hottest team. Slow down with a sweep by the Jays.
Was this the popping of a balloon, or was this just a little bump in the road?
God, how do you cleanse the palate of that Blue Jays series?
Right.
But it is what it is. It happens.
Tonight, it's the Bronx Bombers in town for the first of 3. Wyman and Bob start our coverage at 2, live from T-Mobile. First pitch at 6:40 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports. And every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Yeah, I have a ton of really memorable customers. So one of my favorite customers I've ever had, he came in and had a really bad experience with several different dealerships. He just lost his husband. His husband left him with a truck, and he was like, I don't need a truck. Like, this is so impractical for me. And it was a really emotional decision for him because it was one of the last things that he had, obviously husbands. We were like, it's no problem. Like, we're going to help you. And we did the process the same way that we always do the process. And we helped him trade in his truck for a beautiful new Rogue. And that was really cool. And he bought his second car from us, and I'm sure when he needs a third car, he'll come back and buy his third car from Nissan too. Afterwards, to thank us, he sent us this beautiful basket of like candies and fruits and stuff.
Making a great day for the people around you is making a great day for yourself. The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Hey, Brock Ewart here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen, and PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
Vaccines are one of the best ways to help protect against certain serious respiratory illnesses, including COVID-19. That's why it's important to understand what the CDC recommends for you when it comes to COVID-19 vaccination. Here's Dr. Maria McColgan, a physician and Pfizer employee.
COVID-19 continues to be a risk year-round, and you could take steps to help protect yourself. According to the CDC, everyone 6 months of age and older is recommended to receive a 2024-2025 formula COVID-19 vaccine. The CDC also recommends that people 65 years and older and certain people with a weakened immune system receive another 2024-2025 COVID-19 vaccine 6 months after their last dose, with a minimum interval of 2 months between doses. Talk to your healthcare provider about when to schedule your COVID-19 vaccination and book an appointment at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com.
This message is sponsored by Pfizer.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Michael Bumpus here, and golfers, how does a golf handicap level up your game? First, it levels the playing field so you can compete with golfers of any skill level. 2, shooting par isn't realistic for many of us, so a handicap can set achievable goals on your actual skill level. Lastly, tracking your progress helps you set goals towards improvement like I have. You can get a handicap index in 3 easy steps. Sign up for a handicap ID, Post your scores, and after 3 18-hole rounds, you got it. To learn more, visit wagolf.org/710.
Hey, baseball fans, Rick Riz here. I'm excited to introduce you to my good friend Keith Dashafy, owner of Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Keith?
Thanks, Rick. At Pella Windows and Doors, we pride ourselves on delivering top-quality windows and doors that enhance the beauty and energy efficiency of your home. Our products are built to last with innovative designs and exceptional craftsmanship. Whether you're looking to upgrade your windows or install new doors, Pella has you covered.
That's fantastic, Keith. Don't wait. Schedule your free appointment today at PellaPNW.com.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We are live at T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob. Ryan Roland Smith vacated the premises, so Mike Lefkoe is going to hang out for the final hour of the program. We'll turn you over to the pregame show at 5:30, 6:40 first pitch. Emerson Hancock on the hill for your Seattle Mariners. Meanwhile, we talked about the who was it? Was it ESPN that said, or CBS, that said the Seahawks had the 10th worst?
CBS Sports, yep.
10th worst quarterback room in the league. This there might be a new leader in the clubhouse for number one, as the quarterback for the Saints, Derek Carr, announced his retirement over the weekend, and there seems to be some thought that maybe this is. I heard a couple. I think Josina Anderson and now Jeremy Fowler will play this cut, but makes it sound like that maybe he's not hurt as badly as some people think he is, and that he wants out of New Orleans and all of that, but. Let's play this cut from Jeremy Fowler on why he's surprised that Carr chose to retire.
I'm not surprised that he's not playing for the Saints this year, I'll say. I was getting indications of that, and something was maybe going to come to a head. I did not expect retirement, but the explanation of the shoulder injury adds up. Late March, he just tried to start throwing and realized that it's a serious injury, and the Saints vetted that. So that all makes sense, and you knew he was hurt. I just thought it'd be more like he set out the year and then got out of his contract and tried to get on elsewhere. But I think now he's come to the realization that he was probably done, and his days as a starter were over, especially with the fact that he's been a very good quarterback but couldn't get teams over the hump. And then now you're like, a shoulder injury for a quarterback can be a little bit of a death sentence, as we're seeing here.
So interesting. He said, I'm not surprised that he's out of New Orleans, and it made it seem pretty clear he didn't want to be there, but maybe that the injury was worse than he thought when he just wanted out and then realized, oh, well, I guess I can't play anywhere because I can't. So now they got a quarterback room that's got a rookie in Tyler Shuck, Spencer Rattler, Jake Haener.
How about Kellen Moore? First-time head coach, walks into that. We know they're always terrible with cap space because they're always, kicking the can down the road. They always have the least amount of dollars.
I don't know why.
Drew Brees still, I think.
Jeez.
Just all these years later. So they have a poorly managed cap. They can't go out and get free agents. You have this coach that's going to deal with all that. And then his quarterback retires. And, yeah, maybe after hearing that, it does sound like Derek Carr might want to just kind of get out of the Saints situation, find his way back, do a little Rob Gronkowski. Sit out. Hey, I'm retired. No, you know what? Oh, Tom Brady's coming down to Tampa. All right, I'm going to come back. So it sounds like he does get back about $30 million, but at this point in his career, it's a $30 million here or there. So maybe he does end up somewhere else because, quarterback situations are pretty bad around the league, despite the Seahawks having the 10th worst, according to CBS. I can think of probably 12 to 13 off the top of my head that are worse than that.
Yeah, it's I'd heard something, the details of his contract, because often if a guy retires before the contract's up, they'll come back for some of that prorated bonus money that they'd been paid, and sounds like they just washed it clean because he had, I think, $30 million guaranteed coming this season. So, all right, you don't come after the bonus money. I'm going to forego that 30, and we'll call it good. So we'll see. But yeah, pretty interesting that all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, hey, he's done. Career's over. Like, whoa, okay. I know he was dinged up, but I didn't realize it was that serious. And if you're a Saints fan, what kind of confidence do you have in your season, unless Chuck turns into a superstar?
Well, you run the risk too of throwing him in there. He gets his confidence destroyed. Yeah, like we've seen with quarterback. And it's not going to be a functional situation. I can't imagine with a first-time head coach. Has a quarterback that's never taken a snap. We saw Spencer Rattler and Jake Haener at times. They're okay. They're not good NFL quarterbacks. So whatever Shuck is walking into, it's going to be a very fascinatingly train wreck of a season for the Saints.
Well, I got to believe they're going to bring in a veteran. I don't think they enter the season with those three as your quarterback.
Browns have enough quarterbacks. Take one of them.
maybe they go after Joe Flacco or somebody that's just I don't know, that they're not going to take you to the playoffs, but you're not worried about rattling their confidence, and they can, allow the kids under them to grow, so to speak. I just would be stunned if this is what they entered the season with, if they didn't go out and find a veteran that they feel like, all right, we can run them out there for a couple of weeks at least, maybe half a season before we expose, Shuck to what's going on there, unless they want to let Spencer Rattler go out there and just wear it.
Technically, Aaron Rodgers still needs a team. I think Pittsburgh has put all of their eggs in that basket. If we want to argue, we could have a whole debate about the worst quarterback situation. It's the Saints or the Steelers, who just have Mason Rudolph. And their only plan seems to be, well, it's Mason Rudolph, hopefully as the backup, because Aaron Rodgers is going to come here, and he still hasn't decided.
I heard somebody saying that he had joined a golf club out there, that he started a membership at some golf club in Pittsburgh.
I try not to keep up on Aaron Rodgers gossip because it can get way out there.
Well, and I heard it in passing. Somebody was talking about it, so I don't. I guess if I'm a Steelers fan, I'd look at that as a great sign that okay, he's committing to something out here in Pittsburgh, but who knows? Meanwhile, the NFL announced that the Eagles will host the Cowboys to open the 2025 season on Thursday, September 4th. Full schedule of international games will be announced tomorrow morning. Broncos and Chiefs also announced as a Christmas Day game on Amazon Prime. So what are we hoping that for the Seahawks? Are we hoping that they have an international? I don't want to see them play an international game personally, just because I'd rather not have to
wake up.
Well,
early.
That's most important. But you always hear about, there's this jet lag and it takes them a while to get reacclimated and blah, blah, blah. I just don't need anything that's going to be out of the ordinary that could impact them in a negative way. And I don't know, would it be a home game that they would lose? Would it be
it's all AFC teams that are losing the home game this year.
The home game.
So the reason people think it could be the Seahawks is because the Jags are on their schedule and playing in London.
Right.
That would be a road game in Jacksonville. Oh, but the Jags also have this. So yeah, and you're right, Bob, because now I think back to that Bucs game in Munich, and the season kind of flipped after that. The Seahawks had a little momentum. Maybe it was early. It was they were like 4-2 or something. It was very early on in the season.
And they got run over by a team that was the
literally
worst rushing
over
offense in the entire league.
Yeah, and they came back, and it just seemed like nothing ever really clicked after that. So maybe there's something to it. This guy, Ryan Goldsmith, trying to pop back in and bother us. Go practice your shot, mate.
Oh.
Yeah, so there is something to be said about that adjustment and turnaround, because in that specific situation, it seems like there was a definitive delineation of Seahawks were off to a pretty good start, got back from Germany, nothing went well for them.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's a connection, but I heard certain people talk about reacclimating. Hey, it takes longer than you think, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, look, as a Seahawks fan, I don't want any disruption in my season. I want it to be how it should be. I want them to have the same timing and the same, this is our schedule, this is what we do on this day, and this is where we're traveling, this is where, as soon as you get out of the country and you're dealing with time zones and we're going to acclimate to what's going on there, and then we got to come back and reacclimate. Look, it may be a bunch of hogwash. I don't know. But if they believe it, if it's in their head, then I don't want it there. That's all I'm saying as a Seahawks fan. So we'll find out, but it sounds like potentially they could face the Jags. And I guess the upside is it would be a road game. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't be losing a home game.
No.
So that would be the bummer for me as a season ticket holder, lose a home game to an international.
Yeah,
spot.
and actually there's a kind of a controversy coming up here with the Chargers. So they had the option to protect a game against the Chiefs. I guess you can protect divisional games. they did not, and now people are theorizing that that's going to be a game picked to go to wherever there's another international game. There's like 8 of them this year. Oh, Brazil. So the Chargers, they are playing in Brazil. They're the home team for one of those games, and because they didn't protect the game against the Chiefs, now their fans are worried that game's going to be in Brazil, and then they wouldn't get to see the Chiefs, and that's a huge game.
How did they not protect it?
I don't know. I guess there's another one they probably wanted as a protection, like sometime.
So it wasn't that they just overslept and missed the deadline.
No.
Oh man, I was supposed to protect a game. We didn't do it.
Well, now there's another school of thought that stadium gets overrun a good amount. As I know, some shows earlier today were talking about the Seahawks and the giving away tickets. They're starting to crack down on that because of all we saw last year with Bills fans taking over. The Niners fans came in here. So maybe the Chargers were like, you know what? Let's go to Brazil. Then Chiefs fans won't roll into L.A. and take over like they have.
Well, they may have more fans in Brazil than they have
might.
in L.A. Who knows? And then the last bit of news in the NFL, Trey Hendrickson issued a statement to ESPN saying the Bengals have cut off contract talks with him. He's in the final year of his deal. How about that?
We brought that up just because Justin Barnes, big Bengals fan, is sitting here next to us.
You can't be happy about that as a Bengals fan. What has he got? 17 and a half sacks?
Coming off a career year, right?
And they're doing him dirty. What's going on there? Classic Bengals. This is an organization that was just pilloried for years and years for good reason, and they've since turned things around. You got one of the great quarterbacks in the league. This is a team that made it to a Super Bowl, and now we're getting back to that's the Bengals. It's the Bengals.
Well, and the Hendrickson referenced comments made by their president earlier in the offseason where she said maybe he should be happy at a lower rate.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the sticking point there for him.
Sorry, Justin. That stinks. That stinks. All right, coming up, one of the biggest stars on network TV almost had a different career path that involves one team in Seattle. You're going to hear about that when we sweep the dial. Coming up, it's Wyman and Bob live from T-Mobile Park. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Baseball's hottest team. Slow down with a sweep by the Jays.
Was this the popping of a balloon, or was this just a little bump in the road?
God, how do you cleanse the palate of that Blue Jays series?
Right.
But it is what it is. It happens.
Tonight, it's the Bronx Bombers in town for the first of 3. Wyman and Bob start our coverage at 2, live from T-Mobile. First pitch at 6:40 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports. And every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. I'm excited to work with Harley Exteriors because they're my type of people. I met with Ray, Chris, and Nick at my home recently about getting our windows replaced. We've been in our home for over 20 years, and virtually every window has a broken seal. We talked about Harley Exteriors and their exclusive, high-quality Eurovinyl Olympic Series window. It's manufactured right here in Washington. They're designed specifically for homes in the Pacific Northwest, helping to maximize energy, efficiency, and beauty. It's a window you can trust to last the life of your home. It's very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And through May, buy 3 windows and get 1 free. Harley Exteriors are big fans of the station, and they're excited to work with our listeners. Get in touch with Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in Puget Sound. Call 833-HARLEY, HARLEY, or go to harleyexteriors.com.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See for full details and disclaimer.
During National Military Appreciation Month, we at University of Maryland Global Campus say thank you to the service members, veterans, and families who dedicate their lives to our country. We are deeply grateful. For over 75 years, UMGC has proudly served the military community, from installations overseas to the communities you call home. Wherever you serve, we stand with you. Learn more at umgc.edu/thanks. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
We at 3 Tree Roofing understand that your home is your castle. That's why our certified technicians use state-of-the-art installation methods to deliver the highest warranties available. Check out our hundreds of online reviews and schedule a free estimate to see for yourself. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
Bankruptcy, foreclosure, bad divorce? Don't worry. Jet City Harley is now considering all credit applications. Couldn't get financed before? Don't worry. No perfect credit, no cash down, no problem. Get financed on a new Harley today. Visit jetcityharley.com.
On approved credit.
The team at Mazda of Everett is always working hard to make your experience with their team exceptional. Mazda of Everett has over 700 new Mazdas in stock, tariff-free. It's the perfect time to buy a new Mazda. Visit our friends at Mazda of Everett on Highway 99 in Everett or shop online at mazdaofeverett.com. Click the Mazda of Everett price where pre-tariff pricing still applies. Shop their tariff-free selection at Mazda of Everett.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
FX presents Welcome to Wrexham.
For the last 4 years, it's been this roller coaster of magic.
The Emmy Award-winning series returns.
Come on, Wrexham!
With an all-new season.
We're going into a really tough division.
Birmingham are absolute favourites with the arrival of Tom Brady.
It's a friendly competition. Oh! Well, not so friendly.
Imagine the opportunity to beat Tom Brady at sports.
FX's Welcome to Wrexham premieres May 15th on FX. Stream on Hulu.
The playoffs are in full swing, and you can get in on all the action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JOEQ. That's JOEQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
Scanning the airwaves for the most interesting and entertaining stories of the day. Sweeping the dial. Every afternoon at 4:45 with Wyman and Bob.
Presented by Silver Reef Casino Resort.
Okay, so this is quite the crossover, and I brought in Gary because he has to listen to this as well. It's a piece of Mariners history and Survivor history. So Jeff Probst, the famous host of Survivor, this was a clip that's on the All Winners Survivor Instagram account. Some fan sent it to Curtis. So Curtis Rogers found this yesterday. This is Jeff Probst taking part of a promotion the Mariners were running back in 1991, doing kind of play-by-play for a half inning.
Pick up a 1991 Seattle Mariners information guide full of fun facts and history. Kind of a capsule of professional baseball in Seattle. A sure thing you want to get for the kids and for the mom.
We have one of those on the coffee table at home, Jeff. It's our little coffee table book. And
I'd like to say hello to Steve Hamada tonight, recovering from a severe haircut he received earlier in the week. Cairo's own Steve Hamada. Randy, it's been a pleasure working with you.
Jeff, I hope we never have to do this again.
Thank you all, though.
It's been a pleasure.
Very much for that.
We did get to call one base hit. That's nice.
We'll see you again for Seattle Mariners baseball and another Bud Light fantasy play-by-play.
Do you remember that, Rick? Was that something? Wait, yeah, what was that?
No, I don't remember that.
That's wild.
Funny though.
Yeah. 1991.
Yeah.
Wow. Who was he talking about recovering from a severe haircut?
Steve Hamada. Yeah.
That was amazing.
Is that how you got your start too, Gary?
Yes, that's exactly it. That's exactly how.
That's how they stumbled upon Gary Hill.
Yeah, and I like that since we're all here. I was like, oh, you guys would have an appreciation for it. The crossover you never knew that was going to happen or expected. So.
We had no idea. Gary, did you know?
I did not know. I did not know about that. I did go to a play-by-play fantasy camp once.
Did you?
Yeah, and I called an indoor football game that the Arizona Rattlers played in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, okay. Yes, and it sounded a lot like that, actually. Yeah, just a lot of talking with not making any sense at all.
No direction whatsoever.
No direction, no idea what I was doing. Kind of like now, actually. There's actually, for me, not much has changed.
Just words.
Yeah, words.
More words.
Sometimes it makes sense. Most of the time it doesn't.
Love it.
Yeah.
Sweeping the dial.
Yeah, there are no more Mariners ones. You guys don't have to listen anymore. This we turn to football. Greg Olson was on with Steve Smith, the two former teammates. Steve Smith has a podcast, as does everyone, Bob. It's called like 89 or something. So Greg Olson, they were talking about the Seahawks and how they parted ways with their two stars this offseason, in Geno Smith and DK Metcalf. And there was some thoughts. Steve Smith said, well, this is an offensive coordinator in Kubiak finding guys for his system. And Greg Olson was kind of arguing, well, coaches should be able to mold to the players who they already have.
My only counter that I would say is, and this is just like my general view on NFL offenses, if you ask me what my system is, my first question is, who's my quarterback and what does my personnel look like? Mm-hmm. I don't believe in coming in and saying, I do this. Sorry, DK Metcalf. Sorry, Steve Smith. Sorry, Johnny Jones. You don't fit. I'm just not a huge believer in replacing really good players until you know who I'm replacing them with.
But teams
do it.
Right?
They do it all the time.
They
do it all the time. I'm just saying, personally, that would not be my approach. I think the best play callers, the best offensive minds, say, who do I have? Where are my strengths? I'm going to lean heavy. Where are my weaknesses? I'm going to hedge and protect there. And then I'm going to build my system to the talent that I have and protect my weaknesses. Like,
I get what he's saying, but the problem is, by all accounts, it wasn't Kubiak coming in and going, these guys don't fit what I want to do. It was those guys saying, I want out. I want out. I mean, Geno got the contract offer, didn't even respond with a counter. Their counter to the Seahawks offer was, we would like to be traded. Geno Smith. And then DK, same thing. Apparently wanted to be traded for whatever his reasons were. So it wasn't the team or Kubiak going, yeah, these guys don't fit what I want to do. It was the other way around. So I get what Greg is saying, and I don't disagree with it. In this instance, though, I don't think it applies.
Yeah, in fact, I think Clint Kubiak probably wanted both of them. It sounded like it when he was hired. He was very excited to work with DK Metcalf and I assume Geno Smith as well. So that was just interesting because they mentioned the Seahawks and they're going back and forth for a while. But you're right. And Greg Olson, not always the most popular out here, but he had a good sense of it in theory, just not the exact practical application to what was happening in this situation.
People are still mad at him because he got paid $7 million to come out here and stink for a season.
Sweeping the dial.
So we talked about Derek Carr's retirement leaving a big void in the Saints quarterback room. They have Spencer Rattler and Jake Haener, and now their draft pick, Tyler Shuck. Kellen Moore, first-time head coach, steps into this situation, and he was asked about Carr's retirement.
As we've gone through this whole offseason, Derek's had to go through a lot just as you go through this process, and obviously making the decision ultimately to retire from the National Football League after an 11-year career. I mean, first of all, you respect and appreciate so much that Derek's done in this league, and for the way he's done it, the on-the-field performance, the off-the-field person that he's showcased, and the impact he's had on so many people in this profession is really, really special. And so certainly, coming here, I've always had so much respect and appreciation for him. And as we've gone through this process, obviously this is how it kind of ultimately was settled. It was really good communication through the whole process as far as navigating this. Again, challenging circumstances with him being injured at the end of the year, and then just kind of navigating things throughout the whole offseason process. And so, I think Derek, the people that are a part of his life, have communicated really well with the Saints. I think there's been really good communication, and so we feel like it was done the right way.
And I'll be coming out of retirement to quarterback this team.
I just kind of wondered that. Maybe he's thinking, should I just go out there, take some reps?
I mean, I don't know what kind of shape his arm's in, but he might be the most viable option considering they got a rookie that was thought to be a guy you want to give at least a year to, groom under a veteran out there. And then I don't know if that veteran would be Spencer Rattler or Jake Haener, though. I think you'd like to have somebody that was a little more accomplished.
It's interesting. The one veteran that might make sense, but you don't see it usually in the division, is Kirk Cousins. He's sitting right there, useless. They're not going to use him. Michael Penix is their future. They made that move clear. Yeah. They owe Cousins a lot of money. They decided to still pay him. So if you could pry some assets out of the Saints, that might be a good option. He's the go-to stopgap veteran that we've seen so often in his career. I just don't think you would go help a division rival, because right now the Saints are a mess, and why would the Falcons be like, you know what, we're a pretty cushy situation, let's help you out a little bit.
Unless they're like, hey, we don't want to pay this money,
right?
And we could use some draft picks for the future, and we don't think he's going to make them that much better. So I don't know. They've got other problems outside of quarterback. I don't know. That would be interesting. I don't know. I'm trying to think of some of the veterans that are still floating around out there looking for work. I feel like they've all been been snapped up at
even
this
Jameis.
point.
Jameis is on the Giants. He was the one go-to.
Him and Russ are both on the Giants. So, I don't know, man. That's a tough road there if you're a Saints fan. That's you don't have a ton to look forward to. All right, coming up, it'll be a big test for this rotation this week. We're going to break down that and set the scene for the start of this Mariners-Yankees series. That is coming your way next as we continue live from T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Baseball's hottest team slowed down with a sweep by the Jays.
Was this the popping of a balloon, or was this just a little bump in the road?
God, how do you cleanse the palate of that Blue Jays series? Right. But it is what it is. It happens.
Tonight, it's the Bronx Bombers in town for the first of 3. Wyman and Bob start our coverage at 2, live from T-Mobile. First pitch at 6:40 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports. And every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
This is Chris Davis with the Davis Law Group. Did you know that a pedestrian does not have to be crossing the street on a marked crosswalk to have a successful legal claim against the driver? Pedestrians can even be partially at fault for a collision and still have a valuable claim. Call us today for a free consultation or get my free book on pedestrian accident law at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com. That's Davis Law Group, better service and even better results.
The success you've already had matters at University of Maryland Global Campus because we're a school for real life. An accredited state university, UMGC lets you earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning, life, and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. We offer affordable tuition and online and hybrid courses. No application fee if you apply by May 30th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See for full details and disclaimer.
FFA students are learning how to use artificial intelligence on farms. Today, Microsoft and FFA announced the national expansion of Farm Beats for Students, a free educational program now available to nearly 200 FFA chapters in all 50 states. Microsoft's Vice President of Strategic Initiatives, Mary Snap, has more.
Farm Beats is a way for students to learn how to use data science and AI on modern farms. It's crucial to staying competitive in the global market.
Using Farm Beats kits, students build environmental sensor systems to monitor soil moisture, detect nutrient deficiencies, and react in real time. They can address challenges unique to their region, such as drought, frost, or pests, and use these lessons in their own careers in ag.
AI benefits every industry, including agriculture. It's so important for students to learn how automation, data science, and AI can improve decision-making, optimize how resources are used, and maximize crop yield.
Visit aka.ms/farmbeats50 to learn more.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
And 6/22/25. New customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See team for full details and disclaimer.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Mariners open up their series against the Yankees at 6:40, and we'll have pregame coverage beginning right here at the bottom of the hour, 5:30, before Emerson Hancock and Clark Schmidt take the mound tonight for the M's and Yankees, respectively. NFL schedule, we have some games leaking out. Eagles will host the Cowboys on Thursday, September 4th to open the 2025 season. Chiefs-Broncos on Christmas Day. Then the 7 international games will be leaked tomorrow before the full schedule release on Wednesday. And the Dallas Mavericks have won the NBA draft lottery despite having just a 1.8% chance of winning the #1 overall pick.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
We are live at T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob. We got Mike Lefko in, taking you up to the Mariners pregame show, coming up at the bottom of the hour at 5:30. 6:40 first pitch, Emerson Hancock on the hill for your Seattle Mariners. The Mariners are, of course, hosting the Yankees tonight, and the T-Mobile Park roof, I'm going to say, is going to be open. I'll go ahead and go with open right now. It's a little chilly. We're getting in the shade and a little wind coming in, but we'll call that open. That's the Mariners Roof Report, brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. So one of the things we talked about earlier was what we saw from pitching in the series, and it's remarkable how similar their lines are between Castillo, Evans, and Miller.
Yeah.
Not in runs given up. I mean, Miller had the worst day of it. He gave up 7 runs, Castillo 5, Evans 3. But each starter went 5 innings. Each starter had 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, and gave up 1 home run. It's just weird. And the best start of the 3 came from your rookie who was making his 3rd career start.
You know what kind of stinks, too, about that is that the Blue Jays came in having hit the fewest home runs in baseball. And then they had, 4 of them over the whole series against the Mariners. They out-homered the Mariners. They had given up the 2nd most, and they had hit the fewest. And that was skewed the other way. So, yeah, that was a little bit disappointing. And it is strange, Bob, that, 5 innings, that's solid. But we have so gotten used to almost luxury with this Mariners rotation. The fact that they had been the best in baseball, that you could expect at least a couple turns through, you're going to get 6 to 7 from these guys and not have to really utilize the bullpen that much, not have a lot of pitchers going in relief. But, yeah, 5 innings, it's fine. But it's just kind of league average.
Well, for Evans, it's fine.
That's right.
Like, I
it's
looked
good
at that,
for Evans.
went
That's
solid.
great. Yeah.
He gave up 3 runs, 5 innings, kept you in the game. You didn't win, but he did his part, is how I took it. The other 2 guys, it wasn't good. I mean, those are proven commodities. Those are guys, especially Luis is a grizzled veteran. You expect more from him. He's not a guy who typically goes deep into games the way that, you might expect for Wu or Gilbert or Kirby when those guys are healthy. And then Miller, we've talked a lot about him where I don't know if he's just a little bit broken mentally and physically right now. It sounds like he's kind of, when you hear I'm just stunned how similar that cut was. Mm-hmm. I honestly thought we were playing the wrong cut, that it was the one we played from 2 starts ago, because it was exactly the same tone, the same delivery, the same words. Like, I just haven't felt good. I'm 8 starts in, I haven't felt good. And, around the 3rd or 4th inning, I'm not going to get specific, but something came up. So he keeps pointing to something physical. But he also sounds like he's in his head as well. And I don't know what the remedy is. Unfortunately, they don't have the luxury of just saying, you know what, let's have him take a seat for a couple of starts. You don't have a viable option, as I see it right now, to come up and take his place. You got 2 guys down. So they're in a tough spot where he's going to have to power through it. And hopefully somebody can get to him with the right words to get his confidence back, get him mentally where he's at. I don't know physically what he's dealing with. I've got to believe they've exhausted every avenue to figure that out, because he's been saying it. He's been vocal about it, and I'm sure he's decidedly more vocal with them than he is with the media, right?
Well, the fix is George Kirby coming back, and then you have the option to get Bryce Miller. Maybe you skip a start or 2. It sounds like George Kirby was down there, and he kind of briefly talked to some reporters. So Adam Jude mentioned that the plan is to have another rehab start on Friday in Albuquerque. And then I think Adam mentioned May 22nd is at the start of the Houston series for him to make the start if everything goes well. So maybe that's your remedy, is that Bryce Miller is trying to grit and grind through everything possible. Obviously not 100%. Those are his words. As you mentioned, he's said it now multiple times. But because he's a competitor and because the Mariners don't have a viable option outside of him, you just got to go out there and see if you can give your team 5 innings like he did yesterday, and then hope that, hey, it doesn't end in a disaster like that George Springer 3-run homer, that it's more of, what he did in the Angels game where they won that game. He went 5 innings. It was not easy. He had 5 walks, but the Mariners offense did enough. In the A's game, they lost that game, but they lost it in extras, so it wasn't like Bryce Miller was the one that had the fatal outing in that situation. Because I am trying to think about it, and you and Ryan talked about it, and we've talked about it on our station all day. There might not be a viable option outside of, okay, maybe you bring up someone like Diaz, but then you're losing a bullpen spot, and you have Miller go 2 to 3 innings, kind of like the Blue Jays did yesterday, where Eric Lauer goes 4 2/3, and he's their long relief guy because they had their starter, Urania, only go the 1 time through the order. So that kind of leads you into your leverage guys, but I don't think that's ideal, because then you're losing someone in the bullpen to bring Diaz up, so there's not really an alternative. So it is going to have to be Miller, I guess, until you have another pitcher, which recovery-wise, I guess George Kirby is the closest one to making that leap back up here.
Yeah, and again, whatever physical ailments he's dealing with, I've got to believe they're aware of what it is, what's going on, and if it was something of legit concern, they wouldn't be running him out there. He's again far too valuable to what they need to do this season to run him out there and say, well, tough it out, kid, rub some dirt on it. I just don't think that's how they handle their business. So I guess I'm not quite as concerned with that, even though he's mentioned it a couple times, because I just believe in their due diligence. So we'll see what they get done right now. But I'll ask you the question I asked Ryan earlier, and that is, do you have more confidence right now in the offense of this team or the rotation?
Yeah, so our guy, Adam Ray, is right outside that door, I guess. So he needs someone. Ryan Rollins-Smith, can you go get Adam Ray and just open that door? You're the only one. I'm trying to think of someone to get on here. We're trying to produce and host and, needy celebrities. Yeah, we'll get them. I think in this series, what worries me is all the numbers that you guys have rattled off about the Yankees offense. and that the rotation has not turned in a truly dominant start this year. You know, you've had, one, Brian Wu, and he goes tomorrow, but he goes against Max Fried. And so Max Fried is going to deliver a ridiculous outing because the Yankees have not lost a game he started this year. Fried himself is 6-0 on the season. So the problem is Wu is matched up against their best pitcher.
Right.
Emerson Hancock has been solid, but is solid enough against this Yankees team. So, yeah, I don't know. We have some guest booking issues here.
Oh, he's being stopped by security.
He's not being let in. Okay.
He doesn't have a credential, I guess.
This is highly entertaining here. I appreciate the help, though, Ryan. This is live radio at its finest.
Man.
All this. He better appreciate that. Oh, there he is. Okay, well, now he gets in here. Okay. You know what? We are live scrambling on air trying to get you in. I hope you appreciate that. We got a mic set up for you right over there. No, that's Shannon's mic. Here, go sit over there.
Go over here.
Yeah. I know you run the ballpark, you know. Adam Ray was down on the field earlier. I know you run the ballpark, but yeah, we need you on that mic over there. Here, turn on that button.
Do they not know
as we
who
narrate?
you are?
Yeah.
Go ahead and push the button.
There you go.
There you go.
Yay.
Do they not know who you are? Did you say, do you know who I am?
Julio gave me the biggest hug, and I haven't come down for it.
I know. When I called Adam earlier, I said, hey, you coming up? He goes, I don't know. Julio just came by, hugged me, let me hold his bat. It's going to be a while.
Yeah. I've been down to opposing teams, BP, but not the M's ever. Because, it's significantly earlier.
Yeah.
But way cooler, man.
Watching the Mariners hit?
Oh, yeah. It's just, they're so loose. It's, the roof's open and, it's not packed with these Yankee fan hooligans.
I know. It'd be cool if you could rock some Seattle gear every once in a while.
Yeah. It'd be cool if I would go to simplyseattle.com every now and then and get my...
Oh, nice plug for them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell them they've never sent me a keychain.
Well, that sounds like a personal problem, Bob.
Yeah, probably.
We can get you.
Oh, actually, wait. I have a little personal memento here.
Yeah, nobody cares.
You're going to make this
Bob,
very awkward.
Bob,
no, you will care.
Well, Mike's digging through his bag. Oh,
look at that.
Adam Ray pin.
Oh,
See?
I still have that.
I've had that just randomly, and now...
Just in the bottom of your bag?
Just in the very bottom.
You strike me as like a pin guy. Put this on your backpack.
Mine's at home.
Come on, Mike.
I'll put it right on my shirt.
What do you got? You got the Seahawks GM calling you? What's going on here?
He's coming up to watch the pitch. We got a little surprise for the first pitch tonight.
Yeah, Adam Ray throwing out the first pitch tonight.
Yeah, well, I am.
For what? Is this the third or fourth time?
This is my sixth MLB pitch, but only third for the M's. But I was telling some of the guys that Munoz actually. Rick Riz in the house. Can we just give a quick? Wow. All right.
Round of applause for Riz.
Yeah. Try the veal. Nice. Nobody heard that. Riz, I love you. Yeah, I was, met Munoz at spring training, and I asked him when he started throwing 100 miles an hour, and he was like, when I was 17. And then I just, which is a wild thing. I was like, oh, I still can't even throw above 48 miles an hour, and I'm 42. And he's like, you look 58. I was like, all right, nice to see you, bud. And then he saw me down there, and he was like, remember what I told you? Just throw it as hard as you can. I go, oh, I'm throwing at the first pitch. He goes, everybody knows. I was like, oh,
wow.
And then he goes, and then he's like, no, it's just me. And then, I'm like, well, what if I throw my arm out? He's like, hopefully they get it on tape. He's funny, dude.
Well, it's not like you need to pitch tomorrow, so you'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know. We're stacked right now. But I'm going out, but because they say comedian when you go out, I feel an expectation to do something entertaining. So, the first...
Marco's not here to boo you.
So. Marco's not here to boo me.
Does Dylan Moore remember when you...
Coincidence that he got traded right after my pitch. So, go ahead.
Does he remember the time you threw the first pitch and you wouldn't let go of him?
Dylan?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, where I hugged him and I go, we did it, man. Or I go, you did it, man. Or no, what I say? I go, we did it. And he goes, no, you did it. Now you can let go. Yeah, so I'm going to basically, I'll tell you this much. I'm going to I'm going to come up short, basically, with the pitch. I'm telling you right now. So I'm going to, act like I'm pitching and pull a, Rowan Gardner Rookie of the Year. Arm's going to freeze up.
Yeah.
Ball's not going to make it there. I got to go to the bullpen, and then someone cool is coming out to throw the other pitch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So who's catching it? Is that a surprise?
I asked B. Woo, and then I saw George Kirby down there, and he said he wanted to. So, hey, man, I'm going to let him fight it out in the clubhouse.
Look, don't hurt Kirby, okay?
Well, actually, as soon as he said, he's like, I want to do it, I go, I don't think they would let you do anything with your arm other than brush your teeth with it. Smells like you haven't. But he goes, so I think probably Biwoo because he's not going until tomorrow, right?
Yeah, actually, could it be somebody else?
It can't be somebody. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
these guys are too crucial to what they're.
How about
trying
Rowdy?
to
How about Rowdy?
Yeah. How about Solano? Why don't you get Solano back there?
No, it'll be somebody. I don't know. Maybe the Moose. I don't know.
It'll be somebody.
Oh, I did see Brash. I told Matt Brash I would give him a little plug. It's his birthday today. He's
nice.
27.
Happy birthday, Matt Brash.
Happy birthday, or as the Canadians say, sorry, I forgot your birthday. Or what? I don't know. I don't do accents. But so he said he's only pitched 2 days and 2 weeks, and I go, I got to tell Dan. I go, you got to be pitching on your birthday, right? He goes, I hope so. He goes, tell him. I go, you should hold up a sign in the bullpen that says, Dan, it's my birthday. You know how like people go to like a Justin Timberlake concert and go, Justin, can I get a selfie or smell your underwear? It's my birthday. You know, I only did that once. But you know, so I go hold up a sign like you're in the pen and say, let me throw. It's my. I don't know. Yeah. I feel like that. Also, he's ready to go.
So was there anybody on the team you didn't talk to when you were down there?
Edgar, I was too afraid.
You were too afraid?
I did want to go up to him and go, it's a light bat, and just see what he would say.
He'd go, yeah, I've never heard that before.
Yeah. Do people do that to him? I feel like that's such a deep cut.
I think here in Seattle, it's not. It's a hit.
No, it was, it's stacked down there. It was, you got, Riz is down there, Shannon Andrea's down there. You got the whole,
she's
the
up
whole
here
squad.
now.
I know, but I saw her down there working. I was going to, intercept for a hug, but she was, working, wheeling and dealing.
Yeah.
Shannon, kissing babies, shaking hands.
So we had
she actually did make eye contact, and she goes, look away. And I was like, okay, wow.
You call me Miss Strayer.
Yeah.
So we had a request from the text line, and we also had a clip of Jeff Probst doing Mariners play-by-play way back in 1991.
Whoa.
So someone asked, what would Dr. Phil doing a Mariners game sound like?
Well, first of all, Mike, I'd say button your shirt. Nobody needs to see that bare chest. I saw that same chest when I was taking a swim picture in the 12th grade. But no, I'd probably say, look, the Yankees are tough. They spend a lot of money. And we're, not that we don't spend money. We've got a Bark in the Park coming up here soon. But which I know we updated the logos for. Shout out. But look, baseball's a long game, Mike. You know this. And so I'd say, put one foot in front of the other. You know what I'm saying? Wake up with the sun, go to bed with the moon. Cal's on fire, leads the league in home runs, or is just behind the leader. Julio's hitting his stride. I think Polanco not having to play the field is huge. Speaking of huge, I was in the bathroom for about an hour and a half before I came on air. Not to get too descriptive, but let's just say they're going to have to shut down the suite level restrooms. But no, I'd say, look, you want to try your best. We're going with Emerson Hancock tonight, which is a word I can't say in front of kids. But I do like to sit up from this vantage point because you get to see the sights and sounds, the crack of the bat. And everything's clicking our way right now. I just think you got to shake off, like Taylor Swift said, the Blue Jays blues and focus on the pinstripes, who I do hate. They won't even put their names on the back of their jersey. That's how disgraced they are as an organization. But, I think we're going to take at least 2 out of 3. But I'm going to put my money on a sweep, and you can count on that. That's a bet that I'm willing to take to the bank. Not the same bet that Adam Ray made with Bob Stelton last year about Jared Kelenic hitting 40-plus home runs, and if he was right, Bob had to let Adam Ray's mom feel up his chest on his birthday. We'll be right back. Is that good enough for you, Mike?
Perfect.
Wait, who asked that?
Texters. They all were clamoring for
I assumed it was my mom. Ask him to do his Dr. Phil.
Hey, what's going on with it? You got a show coming up at the Moore Theater.
Doing the Moore Theater, December 19th. So it's a ways away, but it's off season, so
tickets are on sale.
We're already about 45% sold out, so we might add a second show. I've never done the Moore before. I saw Bill Burr tape his special there last year. Pearl Jam famously did one of their music videos there. I think Even Flow or Jeremy, and Nikki Glazer, Joe Coybin. It's just an iconic Seattle venue, and I've did the Neptune for a Dr. Phil last June, but this is just me, and so it's 1,800 and pretty pumped.
Yeah. I told you I was in there looking at the pre-sale.
Yeah.
And it looked like it was half sold before they
pretty close.
officially went on sale.
I think the bottom level is getting pretty close, so we still got. But we got months for months for people to wait till the last minute. So get them now. Get them for Hanukkah or January 6th, whatever you celebrate, and just come on out. More Theater, December 19th. Today on YouTube dropped the show I did with Sean Kemp and Gary Payton. We did this live Seattle sit down with Kemp and Payton at the Tacoma Comedy Club.
Yeah,
and
that was fun.
It's about an hour and a half. It's as raw and real as you'll ever see GP and the Rain Man, and. So that's my youtube.com/Adam Ray Comedy. And then tomorrow I'll be making my debut on the Top Step podcast.
That's what I heard.
I can't wait.
Oh, he's back there.
I wonder how.
Wednesday. That's right, Wednesday. Ryan goes, be there by 10:30. Pants optional. I was like, dude. All right, you said it. So I can't wait.
Pants optional.
Everyone listen to the Top Step podcast hosted by the Ryan Rowan Smith. Where do you get it? Spotify, iTunes, right? YouTube too. Yeah, we got to film it. That's why I do got. That's why I shaved today. So,
do you get tired of people trying to do the accent?
I wish I could. I honestly, not that I feel like I'm an expert on any accent, but like, being in Australia for 4 months and then 3 months, I'm like, I should have at least picked up a little bit. Yeah,
He's going. Yeah, you should have.
Yeah, but most Americans just want to go Foster's, put another shrimp on the baby. Yeah, that gets real old. There was my Uber driver, the C word is a term of endearment.
Yeah, don't do that here.
Well, don't tell me how to live my life, Bob. I got a cough button. I got a cough button right here. But the C-bomb, which, I won't say it, but we all know the derogatory C-bomb is like a term of endearment in Australia.
Yeah.
So I'm getting out of my Uber and I'll say bunt instead, right? Bunt is we're good. So anyway,
you're making Lefko nervous.
He's always nervous. He was nervous when I walked in here.
It's Matt Nelson back in studio.
Is Matt Nelson in
Gotta
studio?
say hi to him. You're making him nervous.
Shout out Matt Nelson. I love you. Why aren't you here? That's about it. But I gotta hang out with
Riz
Matt.
over here.
Riz is a great audience.
Riz
Well, dude,
cracking
Riz
up
laughs at
over
my
it.
B material. He's a great audience. Riz, I start a story. Riz is like, "How you doing, bud? How's the week been?" I go, "Oh man, traffic was terrible." He goes, I mean, Riz is just the best audience. Yeah.
I look at the guy and he makes me laugh.
Yeah. All right.
One of his best stories, Riz, is when he was pestering you to let him do some play-by-play.
Oh, yeah.
And he was imitating you going, sorry, just don't trust you.
Yeah.
I know. The FCC is right
Yeah.
there.
I don't want to put your job in jeopardy. Riz. You're too important to the organization.
Yeah.
No, but the C-bomb. I get out of the Uber and he called me that word, and I go, "Hey man, 2 stars. I'm sorry, but that language is pretty offensive." He's like, "No, it's a 10-minute endearment," and I was like, "Oh." So then I fired it right back, and then we still keep in touch on Facebook. Yeah, that guy was Gary Hill.
He's getting everybody in here.
Yeah.
Everybody in here. So you got the Sean Kemp, Gary Payton special that was filmed
That's on
at
YouTube.
Tacoma Comedy
Yep.
Club.
And then
That's
stand
out
up
tomorrow.
That's today. It's out
Today.
right now. So
Okay.
go to youtube.com/Adam Ray Comedy, and then stand up tour and Dr. Phil dates are all adamraycomedy.com, and then I don't know what else. Yeah, Dr.
More
Phil
Theater.
Netflix special. Yeah, check that out.
We're going to see you on the road?
See you on the road. Yeah. Oh yeah. I've got probably 2 or 3 gigs. I know last year I planned most of my cities around where the squad was, and which I was a little trepidatious about at first because I was like, I felt real comfy with Riz, but getting to know the rest of the guys, I didn't want to. Like I think I saw Dan Wilson when he was on the broadcast team 2 cities in a row, and he was like, "Oh, you're here again." but obviously he was just busting chops. But yeah, I mean it's the coolest to be able to do a show like when we were in Denver. The team was in Denver. Riz, they landed and they were staying a block from the comedy club I was at. So he just came right over, saw the late show, and then I came over to the afternoon game that was at 4. My show was at 7. Hung out in the booth until like 6:30. It was. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't get better than that.
Saw you in Atlanta.
See, Riz saw me in Atlanta, and where else? You saw me. Well, Riz watches me sleep on my ring cam, so he sees me every. Yeah.
No, I don't.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's all. Let's cut to a clip.
Well, you've had the players come out and see you. You sent me that picture of George Kirby and
Kirby came out
Sauce.
to a Phil show, and then Cal and Wu came to a show in Arizona last week, and hopefully that's the cool thing about the off season is in December is that hopefully guys that live here will come out to a show. But yeah, man, I mean, it honestly makes all the sense that we're playing the way we are because. Getting to be in the clubhouse during spring training and roast the guys and see how well they took jokes, you know me, I'm like, you got to, everyone's needs to be effed with. You don't have to be mean about it, but everyone's got to be hit and hugged. That's how I view it, And if you can laugh at yourself, you're really just living a healthier life. And they were all so cool about it, and they're so tight with each other. 1 minute. Matt, are you playing Halo right now?
Till the broadcast
Are you on Xbox Live or till the broadcast starts?
Till the broadcast starts. So we actually have to go. We got a hard out. Yeah.
Whoa, Matt, say it into the mic like a real man, dude. What did you just say?
Oh, I'm always playing Halo back here. I'm never listening to this crap.
Dude, Matt is a sniper on the show. He's like the unsung hero, the glue, as we call it.
Yeah.
Matt,
he does good work.
Matt, you are the Mitch Haniger of the team. You know what I'm saying? You're the heart and soul, which are the only two body parts Mitch didn't get injured.
Great. We're done in 30, so
we're
this
cutting
has
your
to
mic
stop.
Now. All right, I love you, Mike.
AdamRayComedy.com.
Yes.
Everything you need to know is right there. Buy
Mariners.
tickets to the Moore Theater coming up at the end of it could be a second show added. Tickets are going fast, so we'll find out. We got the Mariners and Yankees coming up. I want to thank Jim Bowden, Erik Boland, and, of course, Adam Ray for joining us on the program. If you missed any part of today's show, you can find it on the podcast page at seattlesports.com. Just click the podcast tab, click on our picture. It's right there. We'll talk to you tomorrow with Wyman and Bob.
Baseball's hottest team. Slow down with a sweep by the Jays.
Was this the popping of a balloon, or was this just a little bump in the road?
God, how do you cleanse the palate of that Blue Jays series?
Right.
But it is what it is. It happens.
Tonight, it's the Bronx Bombers in town for the first of 3. Wyman and Bob start our coverage at 2, live from T-Mobile. First pitch at 6:40 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports. And every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Heading to the ball game? Don't mess with traffic and pricey parking fees. Make it easy and ride the bus. It's affordable and convenient. No stress, no hassle. And plenty of time to grab a hot dog before first pitch. Community Transit makes riding the bus fun, easy, and affordable. You save money on parking, and kids under 18 ride for free. See where they can take you and plan your trip today. Go to communitytransit at ctgo.org/home run.
Hey, Brock Ewart here with my buddy Dave Taylor from First Mark Insurance. So glad, so thankful that Molly and I made the call. Had heard so many First Mark Challenge victories, we needed to take that challenge. What does happen from your perspective when that caller, when that email, when that person reaches out to you for a First Mark Challenge victory?
That's a great question. So there's several steps we go through in the process. The first step is we're going to gather information, find out all we can about that client and what their needs are. The next step is we will go out to the market. We have dozens and dozens of carriers that will compete for the business. At the end of that process, we will then bring those findings back to the customer, show them what we found, and who the eventual winner was in that competition.
And it may be who they're with.
It might be, yes. And sometimes that's the best we can do is recommend they stay where they are, but maybe modify a few coverages to put them in a better position.
So go take that challenge today. Go be the next First Mark Challenge victory. It costs you nothing, and they will be there with you every step of the way. FirstMarkInsurance.com. FirstMarkInsurance.com.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. I'm excited to work with Harley Exteriors because they're my type of people. I met with Ray, Chris, and Nick at my home recently about getting our windows replaced. We've been in our home for over 20 years, and virtually every window has a broken seal. We talked about Harley Exteriors and their exclusive, high-quality Eurovinyl Olympic Series window. It's manufactured right here in Washington. They're designed specifically for homes in the Pacific Northwest, helping to maximize energy, efficiency, and beauty. It's a window you can trust to last the life of your home. It's very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And through May, buy 3 windows and get 1 free. Harley Exteriors are big fans of the station, and they're excited to work with our listeners. Get in touch with Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in Puget Sound. Call 833-HARLEY, HARLEY, or go to harleyexteriors.com.
Summer is on everyone's mind, and many of us ladies, well, you men too, would like to get rid of that extra stubborn fat and address those areas of loose skin like around the waistline, chin, and upper arms. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat freezing methods, even those new pills, but without getting the results you were hoping for. Introducing ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. ProSculpt is minimally invasive, performed while you're fully awake, and it's gentle yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate and permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation, and for a limited time, get $250 off. Feel confident this summer with instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening that works for women and men too. ProSculpt.com.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bumpin' Stacy.
This summer, make sure your roof is ready for the season ahead with a company you can trust, like 3 Tree Roofing. We're not just your roofers, we're your neighbors, and we're here to help you protect your home this season. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free on-site estimate and get your roof replaced before the summer rush and potential material price increases. Our certified technicians make your roof replacement easy and worry-free, so you can focus on the important things this summer. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free, no-pressure estimate. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
Can you take the power of your home internet almost anywhere? Well, with Xfinity, you can. Do more of what you love in the places you go the most with internet and mobile together. Xfinity built a network that's 99.99% reliable. Plus, Xfinity Mobile, well, they have Wi-Fi power boost, giving you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and out on the go. So get the same reliable network in the places you need it the most. Maybe the coffee shop, the grocery store, or at the game. Whatever you're into, you'll love how fast you can do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for a year with no contract. And save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T Plus. Ask how to get a free premium 5G phone. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra after promo. Regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Savings compared to Verizon 5G, Internet Plus One, unlimited welcome line, and AT&T Internet 300 Plus One, unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
When an 18-wheeler ran a red light and took the life of a Tacoma man in 2021, his family trusted Davis Law Group to fight for them. And we recovered a $3.5 million settlement and held the trucking company accountable for his death. Accident victims have trusted Davis Law Group to win their case for the past 30 years. And hundreds of 5-star reviews from real clients are proof that we've earned that trust. Call Davis Law Group today for a free consultation or get my free book on trucking accident law at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
This is Seattle